Let's get started.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
Do not attempt to adjust your dial. I'm transmitting live. Yo,
Let's get down to business.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
All
for
right.
the underground world, every street and borough.
You may learn something.
You're now listening to the Joe Rogan Experience with Chico, Simon, Kamar, and your host, Matt Floyd.
Welcome to the Joe Rogan Experience. My name is Matt Floyd, joined as always by Kamar
Welcome to the party.
and Simon.
Welcome to the party.
What we do here is very simple. The three of us have listened to every episode of the Joe Rogan Experience this week. We are going to rate each episode as well as the week on a scale of 1 to 5 Jamie Vernon's. We're then going to talk about each guest, the talking points, give our opinions, this, that, and the next. But first, Kamar, do we have any new patrons?
No, we do not. But like and subscribe, hit that like button. And you know what else?
What else?
Thank you. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, I agree with that statement.
Leave a comment. It really helps the algorithm. And just say how much you like us. 5-star rating on all platforms. Just what else did I have here?
Kamar, how was your week?
Again, thank you.
What an asshole.
I had a good week. I tried. Simon wrote me a joke,
Yeah.
and I tried it, but I fucked it up. But it still got a laugh,
Oh,
so I really know it's got legs.
What was the joke? I don't even remember.
Makeup sex.
Oh, yeah, right.
But when I said breakup sex.
Like, it's not breakup sex.
Well, makeup sex. You have
Oh,
to-
I see. But the joke is makeup because you're putting makeup on.
I know, and even though I told it wrong, it still got traction.
All right,
So I
wow.
think it's a
It's a hit then for
a home run. Yeah. And then I went to Fairfax.
which is a local
Good for
strip
you.
club for everyone. Yeah.
When's the last time you were there?
Ramey's bachelor party.
Yeah, this is a broken record, but it was wild, man. It was wild.
Yeah, it is.
He does
We're
this
back.
every once in a while, eh? He goes to the strip club, then asks you when was the last time you went, and then goes on to tell you that it was lit.
I
Yeah.
know the answer. Well, it probably isn't actually.
Probably isn't lit. Why?
Well, it's poorly lit. We know that.
Oh, lit as in fire.
Yeah.
What
God
were you
did.
talking about?
How much
The
did you
actual
spend? How
lighting?
much did you spend on lap? Actually, wait. Don't answer. What do you think the over/under is on Kamar spending money on lap dances?
What's 0? Because
Oh.
he definitely did it.
Oh, interesting. I think he threw at least a 20 at it.
$15, and I don't get lap dances.
Wait a minute. Well, $15 lap dance. What is this?
I just take the $5, put it on my mouth, and jump on the stage.
Oh my God, you're one of those.
dirtbag.
Oh my God.
You trash.
Oh my God.
Oh, piss jug.
Oh.
You never cease to amaze
And
me.
furthermore,
Oh my God.
the money I did spend.
So you did that 3 times?
C. 3 different girls. 3 different
Oh, okay.
girls.
Okay,
Not the same.
sorry. That's better somehow.
It's the
Oh my God, that'd be
economical-
incredible. He gets off the stage, pulls out another 5, jumps right back on. She's like, ugh.
It's economical, but what I did do is stupid. Is there's 3 girls sitting beside us, and I bought them a round of drinks,
This story is just...
and that's where the money went.
Wait a minute. So you did the dirtiest thing you can do at a strip club, and then you tried to pick up girls at the strip club? Wow.
Probably.
Wow. What a fucking wild man you are. That is bananas.
Can I treat you to a buffet in Pervert's Row?
Dude, that's fucking nuts. I also
Then the 3 of them got hit by a car.
This story is insane. What are you talking about?
Did you
How
try
did
to-
all 3 of them get hit by a car?
No, I made that up.
did you try to buy them shots? Like, had you already done 3 $5 rounds up there and then tried to buy them shots?
No.
You'd only
they're
done it
just-
once?
I hadn't bought them. Just offered them drinks. I was just feeling like the man.
No, he means did you pull your $5 scam before?
Not scam. Had you
Or,
gone? Had you
on
laid on your
stage.
back on stage more than once before you offered them shots?
Probably, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's fucking.
Well, whatever. I don't even know what I was hoping to achieve.
Were the
Sex.
girls more dancers or were they civilians?
Civilians.
Civvies.
And you just have that feeling of it's a party.
Yeah, I get you. That's fun. Well,
that was wild.
I'm glad you had fun. Who are you with?
By myself.
Keith.
A person exactly who would when before like, hey, we should go here, and then you go, oh, maybe we should go there, and they say, oh, I was just kidding, and it's that sort of thing where they're like, I wouldn't do it unless you want to do it.
But if you want to do it, yeah,
Then
we
can
should
do
get
it.
some Coke. I'm just kidding. I mean, unless you want to get some Coke.
It's a very interesting technique. Anyways, it was a good week. It's getting cold. Snowed. First snow. Let's go.
Simon, how was your week?
Let's go. I got nothing to report.
Really? You're not angry about anything? You didn't watch anything that most
Not
of the
that-
world would find
not that
uninteresting?
warrants conversation.
Wow.
What the fuck is this world
Double
coming
wow.
to? Simon's checked out. He's clearly done with this podcast. I think I realized that last week. My week was fine. I'm gonna say I'm really I've two people messaged me on Patreon and I messaged them back and then I looked at the date they had messaged me and I was like, I'm just terrible at this. So I'm gonna start really treating this like something. I just for a year at least I was like, I just want to stay away from all the comments and all that shit. But that's not how you run a podcast.
You're really busy though. So I mean, it's
I
just
fucking hate you.
getting around.
You're such a piece of shit.
If you had just gone with it, it would have been a lot.
No, it wouldn't have.
Unbelievable.
You want to go over the guest list, Kamar, so we can do what we do here?
Yeah, fire it up. No, it did not mean it that way. Ladies and gentlemen, this week we had a potpourri, still all white people. We started the week off with 258, 2058, Elliot West, telling stories about the older West. 2059, Adam Greentree from Down Under. 2060 brought in Gary Brecka. He's not a doctor. And we finish off the week with 2061. She's expecting Whitney Cummings.
He's like a shitty morning radio DJ.
Are
She's
there,
expecting.
Are there good radio DJs in
Yeah.
the morning?
Probably.
I'm going to come out right saying I give the week a 4. It blew my socks off.
I fucking hate you.
There's no way I give it a 4. I'll give it a 3, I guess.
It gets a 2. You guys are wearing fucking Joe goggles.
Really?
Joggles.
Well, I mean, I guess there's only one way
hold
to
on.
find out.
We got guests that we had never got before. 3 new guests,
Joe
correct?
goggles.
No. 2.
Oh, sorry. Green Tree's been on before. Yeah, that's right. Okay, but he hasn't been on in a long time.
5 years,
Yeah,
mate.
I didn't love that third podcast as much as you guys did. I thought it was fucking Dolesville, USA.
I don't think we loved it as much as we said we loved it. We just wanted to make you feel like you were wrong.
I didn't say anything until this point right now, so I don't know what you're talking about.
No, you said it wasn't a good podcast. You said, I don't know. It's pretty good.
Did I say that?
I don't remember.
Because I
Wow,
didn't.
how convenient.
See what it's like?
Yeah, I do.
I didn't even
Anyways,
take his side. I just said I don't remember.
Go on, Jugs. Let's do this.
Well, yeah, let's do it like we're trained professionals to do. 2058, Elliot West.
Let's do it like we're supposed to
I
do
keep
it.
just wanting to call him Elliot Ness.
Say what now?
Elliot Ness.
What?
And on that note, the movie game, The Untouchables.
I say what now?
Hit the button.
Untouchables.
So he was there. Like, I hope everything he said is accurate.
Yeah.
So it's not
Well,
painting.
how
a
will you
picture.
ever know?
There's that is it. But if what he says is accurate,
Yeah.
it's really like something we may want to examine deeper. Or is the damage done?
The damage is done.
The damage is done and it's irreparable, or we are on our road to.
What are you referring to?
How like in 30 years it just changed so drastically, all the First Nations. And which is more interesting is that they're not, we think of it as First Nations in that it's like a people, but they don't know each other from Tom, Dick, and Harry. And he pointed out the only thing that invented them having a sense of being similar was the residential schools. He had a weird way about talking about stuff, but it was very, very interesting.
I mean, I don't know if it was very, very interesting.
No, it was definitely interesting. The most interesting of the week. I'll stand by that.
This guy is in this. Simon has dug his feet in already. We're 3 minutes into the podcast, and Simon has he has put a line in the sand.
No, I just don't think all the other ones are garbage. I'm having a hard time talking.
Garbage.
Well, they were talking about how even the First Nations, they got in on capitalism.
Yeah.
They were doing
Well,
buffalo hides.
the fur trade was a huge deal. Where do you think the Hudson Bay Company was getting most of their furs from?
China.
First Nations.
Correct. No, not from China.
He says correct.
And
From our version of
in
China.
1870s, a lot of the leather was cut from Argentina.
Yeah, that's weird, eh?
It's just weird how young we are, how we think the world works and stuff. And do we remember this? But the horses originated in America, left, and got brought back.
Yeah, we've had this argument before. I don't think they ever left.
And I don't care.
He doesn't. Which makes the conversation a little hard to
Well,
have.
no, I just honestly, no one, they're never going to prove whether the horses, anything that's,
Well, if they originated here,
yeah.
we're bound to find record, right?
I guess.
Throughout history.
Okay.
So how would we ever know if they did leave or not, I guess is the point. To your point.
Yeah. We're just not going to get the answer. So also, I don't think it's as, of all the mysteries, Simon, do you think that's even top 50 for you? Did the horses leave North America?
No, I just think it's another way to I don't know. It feels like this European narrative for whatever reason. And the idea that they were here and left and then got brought back. Why'd they leave in the first place if they're here so great?
Because
You know
he
what I
said
mean?
climate change. It got warmer. And we lost an armadillo the size of a car. That'd be pretty badass.
Yeah. And did we lose that to climate change or did we lose that because, humans started fucking becoming the dominant species and did waste to those armadillos?
He claims is warming to the ecology.
The ecology, eh?
And then he described a bison, and to tell you how big it was, he said LeBron James could fit between the horns.
Yeah.
Like some accurate piece of information.
Americans will use anything but the metric system.
Say, no,
He
say
was
8
just
feet.
giving you something you could fucking put your
It seemed kind of racist.
3 refrigerators could have fit in between this guy's
Then,
horns.
sure.
Well, so he thinks it was global warming, and Joe asked, well, have you heard of this younger Dryas, where he flew back with the, I say what now?
He did then say, yes, I have heard of it.
I say what now? No.
Yes, he did.
He
Yeah.
did acknowledge it, though. He said, I've heard of that. I don't think of it. So, yeah, he did say he heard of it.
That was a quick Rick James turnaround there, wasn't it?
I want to refer to my
I'll put my motherfucking feet up on your couch.
Yeah, what happened there?
The other thing is that somehow these tribes within themselves sort of maintain order.
Why is that surprising?
That's just how it was.
I wonder if there was one tribe, though, where everyone just woke up late. They weren't great at hunting.
Well, no, they got shamed. They get shamed over to the lazy tribe.
No, but that's what I'm saying. So there was that one tribe full of shitty, terrible people.
No, you can't say that. Well, you can say that, but
Okay.
sort of othering someone.
Yeah, I don't care.
12 is the magic number of friends. You're saying they said 120 or whatever is the most contacts you can have, but 12 is in inner circle.
Dunbar's number.
Easily.
12. Wouldn't that be incredible? I'd like to get to 4.
Yeah, but what if you were told that when you were young?
You could only have 12 friends.
Well, you'd be lucky if you get 12 friends, but 12 is the best.
Yeah. 12 is the best.
And he claimed that we are hardwired to operate under these rules of relationships. Like it serves us best as a survival instinct. Just like he was talking about the Battle of Little Bighorn,
Yeah.
and Custer's Last Stand,
Yeah.
and this idea as we watch wars now unfold on TV of it happened 4 days later, the first person heard about it, or even furthermore, I thought the most interesting was the gold rush. I don't think, I guess enough movies and stuff are documenting that, but
Not Deadwood. That's
it was 48. They found the gold. It was only 49 till people who were skeptical believed it. And it's not like you hop on a plane and go mine gold.
But we kind of have the same thing today. It's just like crypto is kind of the same thing. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, there's a ton of money to be made over here, and everyone jumps in.
Yeah, but there's a difference in between like pressing a button and uprooting your whole
I
life.
totally
and going
understand.
out to
I'm-
the fucking Klondike.
Yeah, I realize that.
I think that's the point he's making, though, is that like
Was he making a point?
I'm trying to decipher.
It was San Francisco. Like the 49ers aren't actually the people who started. It was the 48ers. That was an interesting little tidbit, no?
Yeah, it was great.
You're hilarious.
I watched a new series this week. Now that I think about it,
Yes.
it's called Bass something. Bass. He's a African American lawman.
Okay.
It's done by the Yellowstone guy.
Taylor Sheridan.
Yeah, it's like back in the day. He's like, a sheriff or something.
Okay.
Bass. Something. I don't know. Anyways, Western time was crazy, man.
And the irony was that the First Nations people didn't even like, what do you care about gold for? That age-old thing. But it is throughout history, the Egyptians, like how that has just
The
become
Mayans. There's lots of civilizations that were gold.
just our human attraction to gold is weird.
Zachariah Sitchin.
That suggestion is that it has a use other than making jewelry and stuff.
Well, and maybe
No, the
it's just
suggestion would be
built into
again
our
that it's like
DNA.
hardwired into us because we were mining it for aliens for
yes.
That sort of thing.
theory.
not that I buy that, but I'm just saying.
Well, it's weird to think that diamonds weren't even a thing until De Beers. Is it De Beers?
Yeah.
Made it so.
Well, I mean, yes and no. Like diamonds, you can go to Home Depot right now and there's 10 things there with diamonds in them. Drill bits, saw blades, that sort. So they have like, if De Beers didn't exist, diamonds have,
A use,
A
but they
use,
didn't
yeah.
have a value. That's the
no,
point.
they didn't have the intrinsic.
You're not going and spending $8,000 on a drill bit
To say you're committed to a relationship
Yeah,
with a piece of wood.
or diamond.
correct.
He doesn't follow.
But I mean, gold, I don't know. Gold as like a,
Oh,
Well,
wire.
giving a dowry
conductor.
was always a thing. You know what
Same
I mean?
difference,
Whether
same
it was a
difference.
ring
Yeah.
or a whatever,
Yeah.
you're just giving cash.
A
so
goat.
this lady marries you. That's like
giving cash. So this lady marries
it's
you.
no, but
Yeah.
it pretty much is. It's whether it's in cows or it's in change or it's in diamonds.
And the gold rush, I was thinking as he's going through it, is you said it's like crypto, but the next one was oil,
Yeah.
which probably would have been on because they went in and said, you guys can't exist anymore.
Oil is way different than the gold rush. The gold rush, like any Tom, Dick, and Harry, could get himself a pan and go and presumably make a fortune. That's not how the oil rush worked. Do you know what I'm saying?
But wasn't gold, though, a lot of it was like land claims too?
Mine claims.
Yeah, like it wasn't, I get what you're saying. You could just go to a river and pan for gold.
Oh no, you had to buy the land.
That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
A lot of people that were going and buying lots of like massive plots of land in hope that there was,
Sure, there were also like
I mean, oil's the same, right? It was just buying the rights under the land so that you
yeah.
could drill the
Yeah,
oil.
fair enough. Fair enough.
And some of that land would have been probably on prime indigenous, but they weren't. They don't even think in
Well,
that way.
theoretically, it was all on prime indigenous land.
But then whose tribe? Like
Yeah,
they would have thought
I
it was
don't know
different.
which tribe. Like, depending on the area, I'm sure you could figure it out.
The oil rush, the gold rush, and they was clear that this was a genocide for the gold of these people who were, everything was totally cool. There was never any violence. Like it's a really bad thing that happened. And I wonder if it's just as bad here or is it a bit better.
What are you talking about? We still do it. We just do it in a different way.
Are we just as guilty though? Like I
Yeah,
think
well, look at the
there was
Congo.
more of a relationship. Oh no, I meant here in Canada with our relationship with First Nation tribes.
Sure. I just mean we still do it abroad, was my point.
There was an incinerator that they were burning so much gold. There was just gold dust everywhere.
Yeah, that's insane.
Insane.
It would be just insane. The working conditions, just the everything of this time. It is a fascinating time that a lot did happen, as he said, in 30 years, considering 1870, like Joe always says, 2 people ago. It really is weird.
It always fucks me up, like when you see old, like someone was showing, there was an Instagram the other day where they were showing old photos of like Ottawa streets from like 1880 to now, like Rideau Street, where like the McDonald's is.
There are some things.
Yeah, there are some things, but it's just weird to be like,
Sometimes
it's
I
crazy
feel
that
like it
someone
looked-
it's crazy that someone just came here.
It
It was
looked
like, oh, there's a river.
it looked
just
more
set up.
more
And it
bustling.
just kept building.
Yeah.
You know, that little tiny store went to a bigger store,
Yeah.
and then to the Rideau Center, and then,
Oh, and then eventually they attached the roads, and now
yeah,
it's fucking bananas.
It is
It's weird.
It's pretty crazy to think about.
And in 1870, I was born 100 years later. That also blew my mind. He also got sort of poetic about horse culture,
Okay.
and that he was very adamant that it wasn't a person on a horse. The horse and the person as one is formidable. Up until technology is now taken over with conventional weapons, but before that, if you were at one with a horse, we were joking about me jumping on a horse. They wouldn't have saddles. There's obviously a way to ride horses and shoot arrows and just be a marauder.
Are you comparing yourself to
he
an
said-
indigenous person?
Yeah, he's saying if he was born 100 years earlier,
He'd be
he would have been
jumping on
barebacking
horses.
Horse
horses.
culture started here, went around the world to the Mongols, to it's apparently started in Ukraine. It's a weird little tidbit.
Well, what do you mean? They're not saying it started here. They're saying there were horses here.
Yeah.
They migrated over the Bering Land Bridge long before people.
And then horse culture developed from horses being there.
I think he's talking about horse reparations. I actually think that's where he's going. Okay.
And then they migrated over to a place where there were people and they started using them.
For
That's
fi-
the story.
for 5,000 years, whoever was the most efficient using a horse ruled.
One.
Exactly.
Or whoever had the most horses.
And these First Nations, 1870 was the final end of horse culture because technology finally surpassed it
But
beyond.
why?
everything.
Like horses are still very useful on farm. There's still horse culture, if that's what you're.
There are still cowboys. There.
Yeah.
no, but to dominate. And,
Yeah,
and
Yeah, I
that,
get what you're saying. Okay, sure.
that was not militarily or,
I
as a
understand,
force
yeah.
of power, but they were dominant for so long because they had this. And that he said all the ranches aren't exactly what you think about homesteaders. They're all rich English families and stuff that had money over here to start the ranches. So it's almost like if you're the cowboy, like we had Dale Brixby on last week.
He's from rich
He's big-
English
it's-
royalty.
It's big cowboy.
It's big cowboy, big ranch.
Big ranch is holding you back.
It's still cool or whatnot. But yeah, the rifle killed everything.
Well, it's weird when we talk about stuff like that, like the rifle killed everything. Like, yeah, something will come along that will kill that, we're always moving forward.
Well, you're only going to get beaten by bow and arrows for so long, and then you're going to be like, fuck this.
Yeah. Like, what did I hear the other day? Do you know what the biggest industry was in like the early 1900s or like late 1800s? Whaling. And then overnight, electricity comes along and there's no use for it and it's gone.
I thought it was interesting that Joe thought this was the most interesting period in history. Because we were always interested in the pyramids.
I was just gonna. Yeah, it's funny. I agree.
Do you think this is the most interesting?
No, I think it's funny that Joe thinks this is like. He says it like there's no doubt in his mind this is the most interesting. But I mean, I would even have to say that I'd have to, if you were to be like, you can get in a pod and go to any time in history and watch, like,
Yeah, when there are like future us and they're out there and they're like, what's more interesting, these dumb fucks who sat around all day staring at screens, or these people building giant megalithic monuments? Like,
No. What I'm saying is like I'm just saying, like, if you were to give me a pod and say, do you want to go back and see the Native Americans, or do you want to go back and see the pyramids being built? Pyramids 10 times out of 10.
oh, I think the Native Americans are so much like that that we don't even give them credit for. You know what I mean? You just have to go back another, whatever, 1,000 years.
The weird thing about the stuff on stuff is it seems like to be a de-evolution.
Yeah, across the board, a de-evolution. That never happens.
It's not supposed
That's
to happen,
not
yeah.
how it's supposed to work.
Like
And
a-
it
like a-
doesn't
like a
work that
wind
way
down.
in anything else. Have you noticed?
Prices never go down.
Oh, God.
He's right.
It's
Prices
just,
never
it's
go
just a
down.
weird thing about prices.
Why? Why don't they ever go down, Kamar?
Because of
Give me one reason.
Because companies
PJ.
like making money.
PJ, give me one reason.
visitors.
Are these visitors legal or illegal?
Oh, legal.
Legal visitors. Gotcha.
Well,
He's not talking about Martians, people.
visitors we welcome with open arms. But Elliot West made it sound interesting.
I'm not saying it
he was
wasn't
an old
interesting.
man or seemed that way. But I don't know if he was implying there's a reckoning for what's happened, but I guess it's just not enough people. Because the biggest number he dropped was
These are like all these weird non sequiturs.
a group of 140,000 people was whittled down to 19,000.
Yeah, it's a travesty.
Just killed for no other reason. Like they weren't a threat or anything. And do you feel like you understood the scope of it before listening to this podcast?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that's where I thought in Canada at least hadn't given America much thought that it was almost they made some shady deals, but it wasn't a purposeful eradication of the First Nations. Even though that happens in the residential schools and further on, but the actual even the reservations is less egregious than this.
I mean, I
policy.
just would imagine it worked the same way, right? Like you're out there, you're pushing forward to try and get more land in this new country, and you're running into people who are already there. Like, what are the chances that they were just like, oh, yeah, come and take whatever you want? Like, I just don't think I imagine there was conflict.
Well, of course.
Also, they were fighting each other.
and each side.
It's not like the Europeans showed up and all the native tribes were just at peace. Am I
some of them
wrong?
were friends, some of them were enemies.
Most of them didn't even know the others existed.
Yeah. Or for that matter, you wouldn't know what they were. Like as a settler running into them and surviving, if you did, it would take so long for the knowledge to
Well, they must have thought they were like Asian descendants. That would have been the closest thing that like a British person.
Or as a resemblance,
would-
I guess, yeah.
Or, someone from the old world would have thought about
I'm just saying we would know more about First Nations today, back then, than they did about
themselves.
at that time.
Well, I don't know if that's necessarily true. Like they might have known tons about themselves. We don't know what the fuck they knew about
That's
themselves.
true. Also, you were talking about horse culture. Like, I'm sure a lot of them traversed great distances to go to, 8 tribes over.
Yeah, for sure. They're probably not going all the way across the country.
They're probably not, but they're probably going what we would consider a province over now.
Yeah, and we're not like maybe, yeah, boat wouldn't really work, I guess.
I mean, we also think about, it's funny. We talk about going a province over, like, because there's roads, but going a province over back then, I mean, even right now, if you took the highway system out, try taking a horse up to Northern Ontario. It would take you forever.
This is news traveling,
Yeah, yeah.
but we think it was a better time.
Do we?
I mean,
I don't know, man.
for who?
For the Native Americans.
Well, you
for
don't
sure.
know about social
I
media. or
mean,
anything.
before
You just-
we got here, I imagine that was a better time
For who?
for the indigenous
Yes,
people
that's
of
what I was
Canada.
saying. Yeah, yeah, I agree.
If you could put yourself there, that was probably a cool time to live,
Yeah.
however that was.
Yeah.
and everything that we've been conditioned to think isn't necessarily how it is.
I would imagine that everything we've been conditioned to think is not at all how it is.
Because our only real idea about what it was like is from all the movies we've seen, and we've just created
Well-
tapestry in our head.
And what they taught you in school. I mean, we were all taught the same thing about who was here first, when they got here, what they did once they got here, how long those people had been around. None of that is true. None of that is true. And I don't know what the real story is. I know, though, that that's not true. Well, we know. Like, look at Christopher Columbus, for Christ's sake. You know what I mean? That is textbook shit. We were taught as kids, this is the way it is. You don't get it right, you fail the test. You know what I mean? And we look back on that now, and it's literally the opposite. This guy's a terrible guy. He wasn't the first to get here. He committed all sorts of atrocities. Like,
Yeah. Well, they definitely left that part out for sure.
listen, it is so obvious that he wasn't the first guy to get here. It's like stupid. That's not information that was just discovered. They knew Vikings came here long before Christopher Columbus.
Even then, you can't say you're the first person to get somewhere if there's people there.
Well, he's the first
Yeah, to traverse,
European
find,
to
whatever.
find the new world. But that's probably not even true.
Sure. No, I agree.
Anywho,
I mean, but just the atrocities alone, you would have thought would have.
kept him out of the history books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, maybe not out of them. Like there's plenty of atrocious people in
Yeah,
history.
right,
we,
right. There's
we keep them around to remember
Plenty
that.
of tyrants.
Yeah, I'm just saying. You'd think that they would have immediately mentioned that, but no.
And for a time, to speak to Christopher Columbus, the idea was always west.
Push west.
West has been the unknown till now, or till this time.
Well, unless you went around the world the other way.
But everyone sort of felt they knew what was on the
Assuming
east.
that it's round.
I'm not gonna lie though. I thought this was gonna be a really boring podcast. I found it very interesting.
Short though.
And he seemed to, like I said at the beginning,
Was I wrong, Simon? It was only like 2 hours and 20 minutes or
Yeah.
something.
I didn't notice.
Okay, well, I'm just saying. When I saw 2 hours and his age, I was like, oh, Joe might not have loved this, but I was wrong. Joe seemed to. It's just weird. I would have thought that Joe would have given this guy the full 3 hours, but maybe there was just maybe it ran out of
there's
steam.
too much.
I guess, yeah.
About too little. Empire of the Summer Moon was 384 pages,
Yeah.
and Continental Reckoning, which is his book, is 728 pages.
Well, he officially has entered the I will not read your book.
It's a tick
category.
book, is what I'm trying to say. But I thought it was an excellent discussion. Do you guys have any other input into Elliot West?
You're having
You
a
ran out of
lot
breath
of
there.
trouble over there, eh?
No, I have to.
Throw up? Well, you want to rate it real quick before you go do that?
I'm giving it a 4.
I'll give this one a 3.
Yeah, I'll give it a 3.
It was way better than you thought it was going to be.
It was better than I thought it was going to be.
Felt like
yeah.
he had receipts. I think this. Do we call this hunter porn?
Yes.
2059 Adam Greentree. Discuss.
We did this guy early on, right? When he said he was on like
We
5
did
years
him
ago.
a bunch of times.
No, I think he's only. No, I'm pretty sure he's only been on like early on when we did it.
No, he said he hadn't done it in 5 years, but I thought he had done it a couple of times. Anyway.
Oh no, sorry. Yes, he has been on a couple of times. What I meant is not since we've been doing the show. He's only been on once since we've been doing the show.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Early on, I'm pretty
Seems
sure that
like
was it.
More than that, but
This guy's keeping the door open. What a weirdo.
it's not surprising. He pees in jugs. I wonder if he brought one with him.
Pulled the R. He's got it under the table.
I mean, we should count our lucky stars. That hasn't happened yet, frankly.
We should actually. Yes, that's very true. That's very true.
Yeah, no, these hunting ones, like, again, nothing against hunting. I wish I could hunt. I don't have a problem with hunting. I just would never go out of my way to listen to something about hunting.
Yeah.
So my hand is being forced and my ears are being hurt.
It almost feels like a flex, like an emasculating flex to all of us who listen who don't hunt. And
Yeah, agreed. Like, no meat is as good as elk meat. Well, I have to buy my meat at the store. I'm sorry. Like, I like steak and I want to eat it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I can't kill the deer that live around me.
I also, like I would love to live off 12 steaks a week or 14 steaks a week, but I can't even afford that.
One steak is like
Yeah.
minimum $20.
That's what I'm saying.
It's crazy.
I can't afford
Why,
fucking-
Kamar? Why are
Why?
steaks so expensive?
More people are eating steak. Less to go around. Price goes up. Scarcity. Yeah, so he had a 5-year hiatus. A lot happened to him. Some harrowing stories. They talked about different hunting in different places. There's
So exciting.
really deep stuff.
Let's really just power through this one, AK? Because, like, I'm sure everybody, the 12 people who listen to us will be thankful.
But in the sense of like hunting is the challenge. You challenge yourself.
Yeah.
Maybe in the back of the head, they all think that the world is going to end in their lifetime.
Yeah. That's
And they
probably
have to
smart.
be prepared to do it.
I mean, those guys are prepared.
But hunting, I find, is difficult enough. These guys have now got to another level where they have to make it more difficult. Like they could hunt with a relatively level of challenge, but that's not enough now. So much that they may die hunting.
Yeah.
So it's almost like a weird
There,
addiction.
there are plenty of guys who grab their rifle, jump on their ATV, and go out into the woods to hunt. You know what I mean? You do this like hiking up mountains to kill fucking.
There's got to be a happy medium.
Well, I'm sure there is. I think Joe decides this is the way he wants to do it, and that's the way he does it. Good for him because he can do it.
I thought the most interesting part about this podcast was him talking about the ancient civilizations, and that I don't think Graham Hancock
Hancock.
Hancock.
Oh, that's
Swinging it like
that's
he
his
means
porn
it.
name.
has even explored Australia, and it begs that there must be stuff.
They definitely have.
Oh, they have.
Well, I've heard lots of stuff about Australia. I don't know if Graham Hancock himself.
Is there a Gobekli Tepe type thing there? There must be, right?
There are, you know what? I don't know if there has to be
Some sort of ancient megalith? No?
I don't know. I know for a fact that I don't know this for a fact. The
I don't think anything-
hypothesis is that Egyptians had made their way to Australia.
Okay.
The Aboriginal are the oldest recorded human.
Okay.
They've been like a society or a culture longer than any other human. So other cultures would have looked at them as being wise. The Egyptians made, according to mainstream, the Egyptians didn't have boats that could make it across the ocean. They didn't do that until the Polynesian expanded. But come on, we know
But you
that.
don't buy that.
Dude, you build the pyramids, Matt. Come on.
I get it.
You build the pyramids, but you can't build a boat? Like, shut the fuck up. And we know they were building crazy boats because, according to them, they were running giant blocks down
I was just going to
the
say,
Nile.
wouldn't that be how they were moving those blocks?
Any who's it? Yeah, Australia. So the Egyptians would go over there. They found like hieroglyphs from Egyptians in Australia, which is a cool idea. Now, discuss amongst yourselves. I have to find out if there are megaliths in
But
Australia.
again, in a similar sense of the indigenous tribes we were just talking about before,
NPR, Kamar.
they had different languages. They were talking about,
I hate you right now.
Well, so did the tribes. What do you mean? They weren't speaking the same Indian
but again,
language.
they had different languages, and they would write them down. So again, this thing that we think they're all homogenized, they're all sort of the same. We can't wrap our heads about how individual they were in smaller groups, of course. And do you think there should be way more extinct species if we're so bad?
Well, I don't think we know the extent.
Because we would.
I'm not saying that we've done it, but I'm just saying we don't know, like, before we started paying attention.
Before we existed, humans, extinction level is whatever.
Yeah.
And since.
I bet extinction was worse back when asteroids used to hit the world than
course.
they were because of humans.
Yeah. I mean, we've definitely eradicated our fair share of.
Well, I just think it also seems worse because there used to be so many more, and by the time humans come around,
Yeah.
Is extinction inevitable or is it avoidable? I think that's what some people think.
Listen, if asteroids are going to hit the Earth, then it's inevitable. And it really, short of like an organism, most things are going to get wiped out, right?
well, yeah. And I was listening to this thing where they were saying there have been 4 major
Extinction level events.
civilizations.
Okay.
Us, Lemuria, whatever, Atlantis. These were all that ran for thousands of years, the same way we do. And then boom, you're taken out by a fucking random
Asteroid.
piece of stone, you know?
Yeah.
Or a super volcano.
Sure.
Some foreshadowing for the post, Joe. I guess he was there to tell a really harrowing story
Yes, about nearly dying.
about nearly dying
It felt like that, yeah.
in New Zealand. One thing he said is he needed to actually press some sort of emergency device.
Yeah.
There is currently like a satellite phone anyone could get that I think is like $3,000 a year. But you will have a phone that works anywhere in the world. Just anyone out there who's worried.
Just in case you're
Just in
having
case.
out.
I just told you I couldn't afford steaks for the week, and you want me to buy a $3,000 sat phone in case I'm hunting in New
Oh,
Zealand.
that's why you wanted to buy steaks to try the carnivore. Yeah, there's got to be a better way.
You'd think there'd be like a butcher box type company, like the carnivore diet, where they send you like the steaks for the week.
Yeah, you'd have to be direct with the farm,
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
all the table, but it'd still be expensive.
I'm surprised you didn't clap that out. We should start that.
I'm sure that exists. I'm sure that
Specifically
exists.
for the carnivore diet, you think?
Yeah.
Like good food or any
That's
of
what I'm
those-
saying, yeah, like
This
Butcher
is not
Box,
a paid
Chef's Plate.
promotion.
Well, we said all of them, so
Eat fresh.
they all just got a plug. What else you got, Kamar?
One thing I thought about is when I've said this again, but just when I was in Australia,
Yeah.
I mainly was on the coast.
Yeah.
And a couple times I maybe went 2 hours or 3 hours in to the land.
Yeah.
And you go so far. It's so much bigger than you think, I'm sure.
Australia is fucking
It's
huge.
so big.
There are megalithic sites in Australia.
I thought so, yeah.
And there is nothing
Yeah, it's empty.
in between.
Yeah.
Like there's all the peripheral.
Yeah.
But there gets a point where you just die. And it's interesting that he said he used gas. You'd think that Elon was talking about the huge solar panel. I mean, that's got to be a great place to do it.
I bet. Kamar, I remember during the wildfires, there were people posting their their Google Map trip. And there was like a main road that was out, and this one guy posted, he was like, my detour is 47 hours.
Jesus.
And how many gas stations are on that?
Well, that was it. He was like, yeah.
It's I mean, I've experienced it in Victoria. You don't really get it here. You see, if you stay on a normal highway, there's always civilizations, a little town, an enclave, whatever. But there's places where you drive the one way. If you run on gas, it's over. I just always, the world is so big. That's all I
Yes,
can
it is,
think
yeah.
of.
Have you guys ever been in a scenario where you thought it was over? Like where you were like, I might not make it out of this? Like where you had to
an
where you had to
accident?
take a minute, anything like trapped somewhere? No.
Well,
No, I don't think so.
the strange thing about his story is going over, like I was thinking about my kids and my wife, and I've never had that experience.
When I fell, when I hurt my neck,
Yeah.
I thought I was going to die. Because you're just falling into nothing. I didn't know what was underneath me. I thought I was going to hit concrete.
But you're like, I don't have a will. Like,
Oh no, there wasn't
things-
even time. It's so like, you know what I mean?
who's going to take care of the kids? Da, 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 da.
No, it was just, oh shit, there's nothing under me. And then there was something under me.
It was almost like a punchline, though. At the end of the story, some guy had fallen asleep on lunch break, or had taken his lunch break, and that's what almost killed him. And he said 4 years later, that story still works, which I found a little bit used.
He also told everyone across the world, do not hunt in New Zealand. It
It's
was it was a very anti-New Zealand fucking tourist.
Again, remote. Like, unless you have beaucoup de bucks, because there isn't anything out there. Then they bashed the electric car. They talked about the end of the world, which I think they both have. Those trucks, Land Cruisers with extra.
When you look at Joe Rogan and everything he's into across the board, it all seems to be pushing towards like apocalyptic thinking.
Yeah.
He's a prepper who doesn't even acknowledge that he's a prepper.
Yeah. The funny thing is I don't even know that Joe realizes that, like, even with his skill set and all of his preparedness, like, you're not if society really collapses, I don't think Joe realizes that he's giving himself maybe an extra couple of months, but it's only a matter of time.
You don't know that.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Dude, there's so much, like, okay, Joe couldn't guarantee that he could get himself clean water. That's one skill he doesn't have,
This is what
clean
you
water.
think. I would argue.
If
He's got those-
if you can get out into the woods, you can find yourself a place that has water and
Okay, but in his nuclear war scenario, like the U.S. has been hit with a nuke, you're going to start drinking the groundwater.
you keep driving all the way to Canada.
I'm just saying there's certain scenarios where, like, again, there's no skill set that's really going to save
He
you.
has to know how to completely skin and gut an elk.
Yeah.
Cure
Listen,
the meat.
There's gonna
Joe
be,
is
preserve everything.
prepared for society to collapse for a week or two, but then get back on track. Joe is very prepared for that. I'll give you that 100 times out of 100.
I think Joe would do really well if there was an apocalypse. There's three type of people, right? There's Joe, the people who are trained.
Yeah.
There's us, the people who will just die. And then there's people like us, but who are sociopaths and will just turn to.
Okay, but what about, like, listen, Joe is proficient with a bow. I'm sure he can obviously shoot a gun. I've seen him shoot a gun. But what happens when a band of people show up with guns?
Well, he has a lot of friends, so maybe he.
Well, yeah, but
fucking-
okay, no, this is like,
I don't know. Maybe they're all planning
if you're
to
for
meet
real though, you're
somewhere.
taking a tactical position where at some point your back is protected, so you can see the people coming.
you would hope, yeah.
If-
But
if-
again,
if you're
all
engaged in this.
these are hopes, and I'm just saying that
And the thing is about society collapsing is
Yeah.
it's not like it's going to collapse till the lights go back on. Once it collapses, that's the new normal.
yeah.
So you'd have to be in some position to thrive in that new normal.
Like I said, I think Joe he's given himself a couple months for sure. Until he hopes the lights come
Well,
back
and-
on. But what I'm saying is if the lights don't come back on, I don't think any of us, listen, the reason we got this far as a society is because of all the institutions that keep us alive that we don't think about. You could name 50 right now off the top of your fucking head.
Who do you give more time? Who's in a position to have more time?
Joe or me? Joe.
No, not you. Who else in the world?
Not you.
If Joe exists, someone else exists that maybe have a better
Yeah,
shot.
like does Jocko do better than Joe, or you just
Does
think
a farmer?
everybody
Does
only
a farmer?
has?
Yeah.
No, I think
Exactly.
unless I'm sure that somewhere in the U.S. there's like a cul-de-sac where 15 Navy SEALs have moved their family. I bet those sort of people, because again, if you're talking about a crew of trained, well-armed, trained people, I think they as a group, but again, it's the group that,
Well, Joe's friends with a lot of guys like that, so maybe he gets in his truck with his family and drives
sure,
one
to
of
that
those,
enclave.
you know.
Yeah, and then then I give him, more than a couple months. But I'm
But
just,
you think on his own with his family, he will only last a couple of months.
I'm saying the best of us. Yes, that's usually the case.
Okay, let me just let me throw something your way, okay?
Sure.
He gets in his little truck.
Yeah.
They make it all the way
I don't know why you make it cute like
to
that.
like
but
the
okay.
Canadian border.
Yeah.
He drives up into, I don't know, the Laurentian
Well, he's not coming up
Mountains.
here. He hates us.
He kills a family who has a cottage up there. You know what I'm saying? Because
Okay.
that's what you're going to have to do. You got to take that cottage. So he manages to do that. Once he's there, they just batten down the hatches. You know what I'm saying? He hunts game for his family. He teaches everybody to shoot. They take, they fortify. I think you could, haven't you watched any of the movies?
Any of the
They,
movies?
they don't just last for a month and then everybody
does
dies.
Does someone who's rich who lives on a yacht have 6 months?
Well, it depends what we're talking. Well, no, on a yacht, no.
You're saying Joe has
One of
3
those
months.
giant sailboats.
Well, again, you have to have 6 months worth of non-perishable food on that boat, and then once that runs
You
out,
can
then what?
fish.
Okay, well, how do you desalinate the water? What about 6 months worth of clean water? Because you
Some
cannot
of
drink
them must
ocean
have
water.
Water is a
desalinators.
problem. Maybe you should go out on the Great Lakes.
Some of them must have desalinators.
Yeah, but they take energy. Oh, maybe they're
Or solar, maybe. But again, that's going to eat up, to desalinate water, I bet that takes up a fucking ton of energy, and your whole boat would have to be solar.
It would be indigenous groups would last the longest.
Yeah. I've told you this before, that
It's-
book Robopocalypse.
Listen, it's the hunter-gatherers that usually end up living.
Yeah, that's the whole story is that everybody ends up, whoever's left has to go and join up with the Native Americans, because they're the ones who have done the best. Their reservations fared because they didn't have the need for so much electricity and so much this and so much that, the comforts.
They don't have much to lose.
Well, they're just used to living with less.
Where we are losing everything that we
Yes.
think of and know of that we need to
Yes.
yeah,
survive.
try to even survive without your phone at this point. It's like, you won't be able to get around. You won't be able to do anything.
Well, you wouldn't, because you'd be like, how do I tie a knot? Siri, how do I tie? Oh, shit.
Well, that's why I was thinking why these streamers and YouTubers are going so well. Like I remember, say, from 12 to 13, every Saturday night, every Friday night, every night, I just was in my room for 4 hours, maybe watching TV. There's so much disposable time when you're young. You should be doing homework or whatever, but there wasn't all these screens and stuff. Of course, there's people out there watching. They're just much younger. Yeah, they did have some end of the world talk. They talked about the homeless hustle in Los Angeles. That thing where the people get paid, but they're not going to fix their job because then they would eliminate themselves, which seems criminal.
I still don't know if I buy it, but
Some jab talk
yeah.
and the horse pill talk. And that's the most egregious thing that happens. It shouldn't be that it happened. It's that there is no reaction to it happening.
There was a reaction. What do you mean?
The media was like, these are horse pills and these are...
Yeah, but my point is this, is if we think CNN has 30,000 listeners or viewers, sorry, and Joe Rogan has 15 to 30 million, 30 million people were outraged.
Yeah, I guess.
And 30,000 people thought Joe Rogan took a horse pill.
No, it was the discrediting of ivermectin, where if the media had any integrity, would be like, you could use it, but we don't know. At minimum.
We know though what the
Not to
media did.
discredit-
They didn't lie.
But
they told
did-
the truth. They just did it in a
say
gross way.
That the vaccine would stop.
Yeah, that was a
transmission.
lie. Yeah.
And so both these things happen, and there isn't a outrage of that. It's like more of an acceptance of this. Yeah, they'll do that, but I'm sure they have our best intentions in mind.
No, but again, like if you think, like I go back to it, if CNN 10 years ago, 15 years ago had an average of 20 million listeners, and now it has an average of 100,000, then haven't enough people been outraged over the years that they've left?
I think it wasn't just on CNN.
I think it then
was
gets
on
picked up by all sorts of news
MSNBC,
networks who say
it was part of the
CNN
New York
said,
Times.
you
Sure.
know?
So just saying it was CNN that did that started, but you know how they cite each other.
Yeah, I get. Yeah, listen, I'm not saying it's not gross. They're terrible.
More like I'm actually surprised now when a journalist will say the Iraq war was a bad idea. Or we now know that wasn't the best thing. I'm like surprised.
Why? It was so long ago. There's no more accountability to be held. No one gives a shit.
Well, they're still showing, to speak to that, is JFK stuff. And the one they showed last night I was watching, who was the DA in that? Bela Lugosi or something?
No, Bela Lugosi
That's
is a
Dracula.
vampire.
I know, but you know he had a weird name.
Oh my god!
And when they're
Not the actor that played Dracula, is that
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
they're when they're showing it, they're saying we know he had a gun, where the gun was fired from. All this stuff that there's no way they knew. Even today, if this crime happened, they wouldn't know. An hour after this happened, no cameras, or whatever. They had all this evidence.
Are you just coming to terms with the fact that JM? Are you?
No, I was speaking in the vein of like things getting uncovered or looking back at something, and in this case, it's the media depiction of vaccines and ivermectin. Joe thought this was a really important conversation for people to hear because I think we've discussed it before. There should be a course in finding your passion, and I think most people would say that's just life. Like you try things you don't think, but some sort of thing putting in your mindset that this is purposeful. Like you want a goal of finding your passion.
I would agree with that, but at what age? Because your passion, like if you went to an 18-year-old, because I agree with you, like it's tough. If you went to an 18-year-old and said, "What's your passion?" like versus that same person at 30, it might.
You know what it should be? Instead of going to university, you should go to like Passion College.
But
I'm being serious because
yeah.
that's really the time. I see what you're saying, but 30's too late. You know what I mean?
Where-
You
No, I get.
gotta-
Well, but hold on.
to
But
become great at something, you got to at least start doing that when you're.
no, I know, but I think a lot of people reinvent themselves around that like 30 to 35 area, and then really figure out who they are. Like I don't think people.
Well, just because you find out what your passion is doesn't mean you're going to do it. You're going
That's
to be
true,
a young
yeah.
person. You're going to be like, fuck this. Maybe when you're 30, you'll be like, hey, remember I had that passion for whatever.
It's versus finding your passion or having your passion find you, meaning you have to end up doing something you don't want to do. And I
Yeah,
think
but
it.
also that's the thing is like we live in this world where listen, until we have robots doing all the jobs, we can't all just do what we're passionate about. That's not how this fucking works.
Yeah, because is anybody really passionate?
Who's passionate about
like,
lawn care? Or
I
like,
am.
Yeah, it's true. If they paid me enough, I would be very passionate.
And I swear to
about
God
lawn.
now,
Okay, but-
every day I go, if 20 years ago I just started buying lawnmowers and a truck and a trailer, I could have a nice little, only in the summer, this many hectares of lawn, take off for the winter.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question. Do you know what the minimum federal minimum wage is in the U.S.? Either of you?
$7 an hour.
$14.
$7.25. Correct.
Is that true?
Yeah, they haven't changed it since 2009.
That's crazy.
But their
$7.20.
taxes are a lot.
Sure, but it doesn't matter. But let me ask you. So, how passionate can you be about lawn care? You know what I mean? Like, there's monetary things. Like, yeah, I agree with you. If the money's enough, I'll be passionate about just about fucking anything. But usually the money isn't there. So my point is, I go back to it. As nice as it seems that we should all be able to pursue our passions, that's just not reality, is it?
Well, listen, I get his point, though. They teach you a whole bunch of bullshit in school.
I agree. Yeah, I agree with. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they don't teach you a bunch of bullshit.
I don't think it's so far-fetched that you try and find out what somebody loves and see if there's a job they can fucking...
The idea
Yeah,
of the
I can
lesson
agree
would
with
be
that.
lost on some people as well. It's not like a one fixed thing for everything, but another reason why I think they hunt, if I could tie this back in, is just like one day I will not be able to do this. And I really love doing this. So I've just got to do it and be the best at it and just experience it.
I have no problem with them hunting or being passionate about it. Go do. Listen, Joe has worked his ass off his whole life. He should be able to go and enjoy whatever he wants. I'm fine with it.
I think about when I watch football now, in that I've probably said this before. If I have to beat off a dead horse, remember watching football since I was 14, and they were grown, legendary men. Watching football at 23, and they were not peers, but you felt like you relate to them. And now watching them, and they're young men. And so life passes you by. If you love hunting, you wouldn't like not do it till one day do it. You'd do it in your prime as long as you could. So that's my defense of this hunter porn.
Yeah, I get it, but you loved golf.
I just think that's the same for everything. Like time is what takes us, and you do what you can while you can.
Keep in mind, too, most people, Kamar, pursue their passion in their spare time. Like
Most
you have a
people
job.
don't have a lot of spare time.
No, and that's fair, too. But like,
Why, Simon?
I don't feel the same way you do, Kamar.
is that it, Kamar? That's it for this guy?
Yes, let's make it
It
a-
was hunter porn.
It was hunter porn for sure.
I give it a 3.
I can't.
Generous.
I'll
Generous.
give it a 2. These
I
hunting
will
ones are
mimic that too.
again, if you're into hunting, then you might enjoy this. I'm not like super into hunting, and like Simon said, I think even if I was, I don't think talking like I don't think a 3-hour podcast listening to people talk about their hunting stories is really it for me.
Again, maybe, who knows? Because I like Bigfoot and I like hearing anybody talk about Bigfoot. So maybe it's the same thing, you know?
I guess, yeah, sure. Like I like skateboarding. Most skateboard podcasts, I can't sit down and listen to. It has to be someone I'm really like. I don't know.
Like you like gay porn. So when you watch gay porn, you know.
But think about when you're
Simon came in today and chose violence, and I have a feeling he's gonna regret it. Like I don't understand why, but fair enough. Whatever.
He chose violence.
Yeah, of all the fucking flavors you could
gang
be.
violence.
All right,
think about if you're 15, how into skateboarding podcasts and
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
stuff would be.
Yeah.
Because at that time, any stuff you could get.
Yeah, dude, I stole
Tapes.
all the magazines every week. Any
And
skate
access
video,
to it
yeah, of
wasn't-
course, yeah,
Do you think there are young kids? I mean, there must be just hunter kids who are like
of course,
100%.
yeah.
jerking off over hunting videos. Yeah.
There's 17 million hunters in America.
You're forgetting
Or
too, Simon.
registered to
There's a
hunt.
lot of there's a lot of rural America, and a lot of kids grow up in rural America with guns and hunting. And dude, this guy I used to play video games with, he was telling me that like the opening of hunting season in Pennsylvania, everyone gets the day off of school.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah, like so they really do fucking care. All right, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna pay a bill, and we will be right back. We're back. Thank you so much to our sponsors for the show. There will be links in the description. Please be sure to go and check them out. Kamar, name und number, yeah?
2060 Gary Brecka, human biologist, not
a
a
doctor.
doctor. Not a doctor. But he had some interesting ideas that if you did have a doctor, you'd like to go to them to execute, at least finding out if it's true. And I'll say this. I saw Dana White on TV last night at the UFC. He looked fantastic.
Yeah, he looks great. I agree.
So there's some receipts for this guy's work. His idea is that the body's more like an engine,
yeah,
and some of us
need to refine the oil.
like
Can't put crude oil in it.
it almost like lead. Well, I guess lead doesn't exist anymore, but premium and regular fuel, or there's something in your body that isn't allowing you to absorb the fuel as you're getting it. The biggest thing was folic acid. But if it's like
Fuck, like I have to listen to it and then I have to talk about it. This is too much.
the idea that your genes are the same, so it's a one-time test
Yeah.
to find something out. It's not like you'd have to do this 5 years now. It's
That was Simon, you got to give this guy credit. I was really excited that he actually put a price tag that was at least somewhat affordable for like the everyman on it. And like most of the stuff he was saying, like I get it. He was like, yeah, this bed is like $100,000, but most of the stuff he was saying you could do at home for little to no money. So I will give this guy that credit. Like when he was like, you can do this test for $500. You don't have to get it through me. You can get it through someone else. And then just supplement. Get some fucking 6 a.m. light. Sun your asshole.
If part of the
Ice
problems
bath.
with this stuff is sleeping, thinking, anxiety, it's powerful stuff. And again, we see Dana White. Now we're all concerned about the price tag to this, but did you guys remember all the genes you're looking for?
No, but I can go back and listen to this.
Excellent. The test, if it is just lifestyle changes that you can make,
Yeah.
I mean, what do you got to lose? I've always held a badge of honor that we're not like Joe Rogan sycophants. Like none of us are in better physical health. Cold plunge. Like real suckers.
We're all worse off than when we started this podcast.
I've fallen
yeah.
along the way with some of the guests and their magic beans, but we just call it like we see it. Breath work, cold plunge. It's got to be a unanimous consensus on these things as being healthy for you.
That was a double positive there. Unanimous consensus. Isn't that the same thing? Am I wrong, Simon?
Oh, it sounds about right.
What are you saying?
I think
Kumar?
consensus, does that mean everybody agrees?
Doesn't it?
Could it be a general consensus where most
Well,
people
that's a
agree?
general consensus, right? Consensus is everyone agrees.
But it's even like done in Scandinavian countries, like all around the world. There's a coincidence of cold water and sauna before and not influenced by.
Joe Rogan.
By big sauna.
Well, Joe Rogan definitely came after
You think?
the sauna and the cold
Yeah, I
plunge.
think he probably did.
So it's news to him.
I'm just picturing the day Joe Rogan was born. Some Scandinavian guy was like, I'm going to build a hut and I'm going to make it very warm. And that was birthed the sauna.
All because of Joe.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that's what you meant, right, Kumar?
Well, it's interesting what Joe's impact
guy.
is at this point.
It's fucking humongous.
I would like to know. I bet there's a Google trend. Like since Joe's been talking about ice baths, like what the ice bath, like,
Market has boomed.
yeah.
Have you watched, there's like a million videos right now about how Bert Kreischer is so out of touch with reality.
No, I haven't seen that.
Anyways, it's like, it's trending right now.
I feel like we were at the beginning of that.
I'll
Not to
give
cast
it,
aspersions.
I'll give it to Joe.
Yeah.
He's more popular than anyone, and he's always just been the same dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's never let fame get to him. He's never, listen, he's annoying how he talks about all the things he does, but he's never like,
Dude, he could be draped in the gaudiest Gucci clothing and Versace, and he's not. He wears flip-flops and
yeah.
fucking his fanny pack. By the way, we didn't address it. Did you see what he was dressed as for Halloween in the Elon episode?
yeah, that guy who looks just like him.
Fucking incredible. Like, dude, I mean, I know he's a comedian, so obviously he's going to lean into it. That was fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
that was
was funny.
fucking
I
incredible.
dropped the ball.
I didn't
did, yeah.
realize that was the case until I saw somebody point it out.
Fucking hilarious.
And what I forgot to mention in the last episode, he was talking to Green Tree about, did you drive the truck? He goes, no, I didn't drive it. I just shot an arrow in it.
We don't need to go back in time.
No, but is that weird?
Yes, that is
You might as
weird.
well take it for a spin too if you're going to shoot it. Nah.
When you look back on that episode,
Yeah.
remember how I said, well, this was just a 3-hour infomercial for Elon? That was so set up where he says, well, do you think I can put an arrow through it? And he's like, no, I don't think I can. Should we try it right now? Oh, I guess we can't. Like, it was ridiculous. It was like, he was like, Elon, will you come on the podcast? Yes, but only if I can do a 3-minute commercial for my Cybertruck.
But Kamar's right. Then wouldn't he take it for a fucking test drive and be like, I just took it around the block?
Because it probably doesn't really drive, Matt.
They took it off a
probably
truck.
brought that there on a truck so he could shoot an arrow at it. Because nobody's ever seen it drive. All anybody cares is that it's bulletproof, but not in the windows, where the only place it fucking matters. That's where your head is.
Well, what about if it can go from park to drive and go around my warehouse? I just think if you're that close and intimate that you're trying to kill the truck, you should drive the
Okay,
truck.
so like I said, it doesn't drive.
I'm pretty sure I've seen, you know how they wrap cars in like a black wrap and then test drive them? So like you can't get, like it'll be like it'll be a Porsche, but it'll be wrapped in like a black, like square plastic, so you can't really see what it looks like or know that it's a Porsche.
Okay.
I think I've seen some video of the Cybertruck driving around like
They don't
Texas,
drive
LA.
them around in those black wraps.
Yeah, they do. That's how they test drive them.
What are you talking about? Test drive them?
Yeah, go on.
When they want to test drive a new car on the roads, they put it in this fucking massive wrap so that you can't tell what it is, but you could drive it around the streets.
I've never seen that before.
Kamar, pull it up. He's never gonna pull it up.
Who is he dressed as?
He's already moved on.
No.
I'll pull it up.
I'm still trying to figure out who Joe was dressed as. on
You
the
don't
Elon.
know who that?
Dude, there was a guy at a baseball game, at a Texas Rangers game, and someone had tweeted out Joe Rogan think he being slick because this guy looked like Joe, like an older, fatter Joe Rogan trying to be in disguise. Dude, just Google
Hold on, I'm pulling it up.
Google Joe Rogan at a Rangers game. It's fucking hilarious.
Yes, the hockey game.
No, the Texas Rangers, it's a baseball game. This guy was at a baseball game.
It's this guy,
Come
Joe
on.
Rogan, with his girlfriend wearing the wig, so nobody recognizes him.
And he dresses that for the Halloween
For the
episode.
Elon Halloween episode, yeah, which is fucking incredible.
That's incredible, but it's more incredible that he didn't take this truck for a test spin. Such a car guy. I
agree.
know Simon can't see that.
Maybe once he couldn't, he was emasculated by the car. Once he couldn't put the bolt through it.
Or they didn't have a stool for him to get up and do it.
Holy fuck.
No, I love Joe. And I felt this guy had some affordable fixes for possible problems, but it starts with finding out that test.
Yeah, you have to get the test done first.
And
so that,
how do you think you'd get that test done here?
well, he said you can go, I bet you can go to his website and you just swab your cheek and send it to him.
So this is the best way. This
I
is
don't
going
know.
through
He
him.
didn't, that's the thing. He didn't say, he just said my company does it. So I assume that no matter where you are in the world, you could hit his company up, his website. There's probably a link in Joe's show notes. And then you would probably pay the $500 and then he would send you the results. That's my assumption.
Well, then this is an infomercial for that test. You know, some people talk about the conversations they have with their doctor
Yeah.
as it's a common thing.
There's never a conversation. Whenever he's like, do you want to talk about something? I'm like, I have this. And he's like, yeah, you'll be fine.
But how would you feel about bringing up this test?
Well, my doctor would be like, I don't know what that is. Like, for sure. That was the thing is I just don't know that we in Canada have, like, I think you just hit this guy up and then you supplement properly. I don't think your doctor is going to help you with what this guy's saying. What are you going to do, Kumar? You're going to hit your doctor and be like, can you listen to this 2.5 hour Joe Rogan episode before I come in so that we can discuss some of the things discussed in here?
I think the one thing is I feel like you do this test, it would tell you exactly what to do, or would you then have to pay someone to decipher it for you?
Well, I would assume, again, this is an assumption. My hope would be that his company, once you do the test, they would send you a write-up like, you need to take this daily, that sort of thing.
He sells cold plunges,
Okay.
exclusive wellness retreats, and getting out of your comfort zone. Oh, he's a real nice guy. I could not find where you do the test, but I imagine it's the same as a 23andMe. You have no interest in just knowing if you're totally consuming something that is stopping other things from benefiting you?
I know I am.
And you
I
don't
do
wanna know.
terrible things to my
you
body.
don't want to know
Like,
exactly what
unless
it is.
I got clean. You know what I mean? What's the point?
It wouldn't make a difference.
Would it make a difference?
You just know. But he's saying your mindset about it could be it doesn't make a difference because you're not getting the right nutrients.
Maybe.
You just health and wellness porn is out there too. I don't know. For some reason, I thought coming in, he's talking about Dana White. It's like, well, this guy's just going to talk about Dana White's doctor. But I feel Joe's intent was feet on the ground does do something. Unfortunately, that will be gone for us in another week or two.
Yeah, grounding you're talking about.
If you just walk out on your bare feet on the ground,
Yeah. No, there's ways You can YouTube it. There's ways you can ground your bed.
They also sell these grounding mats that you can use. Like we could have them on the floor
Yeah.
for the podcast, you know?
Because
You can get your grounding every Sunday when you come in here.
when I work at the Shaw Center, I don't know if it's related at all, but I'll be changing a lot of tablecloths.
Yeah.
And after 3 or
Glamorous.
4, it'll be electric.
Yeah.
Like I'll almost hurt myself.
From the static electricity.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I get you.
And that's sort of magical. No, I didn't mean like that. But like this idea that we are electricity.
It doesn't impress me quite as much as white chocolate's card tricks, but yes, magical, I guess, is one way to describe it.
Oh my God, that's fucking hilarious.
Well, grounding is important.
Important.
It is
Important.
important.
Yeah.
Exposure to sunlight.
Yeah.
And I thought it was even interesting. He was like, maybe not stare at the sun, but have your eyes open.
That's what
So
I say every day, man.
Keep your eyes open. It's true. That is Simon's catchphrase.
But sunglasses might be detrimental to your eyesight. And then other,
I don't know about detrimental. It just might you might be better off not wearing them as opposed to them being detrimental.
I wonder if your eyes compensate for the different light.
I'm sure you still get light
strain.
through your sunglasses.
Yeah, he didn't mention that at all.
You get light even when it's not sunny outside.
But I was wondering if the sun does make you look older.
Get UVs.
Whatever. You get the benefits of light when there's no sun out.
Does the sun make you look older? Like, does it age you?
Yes, of course it does.
And so that's why you get the red light bed.
I guess, yeah.
He was saying he stares right at the red light bed. Now it's all coming back to me.
Yeah, I don't think he said he stares right at the sun.
Do you guys have a standard font on your phones? Have you do enlarge your font since you first got your phone?
No, I haven't.
I look at people's people are looking at their phone and it's just you have more than 3 bubbles in a conversation, and it looks like fine print for drugs.
Yeah, well, you are getting old.
So I want to get the red light to stare in, get rid of folic acid. It's a genetic methylation test.
Yeah.
For anyone who's listening, write that down. Check the spelling. It's 5 genes and also breath work.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever tried that? That would drive your mind crazy.
Do you remember the 1 week where you were so on meditation? It was around your birthday where all you could talk about was meditation. Like it was the most game changing. Like you were a changed man because of meditation and you couldn't figure out why everyone hadn't been meditating their whole life.
He's been a changed man about so many things.
No,
Oh
but that
my
week,
God.
that week you were like particularly unbearable to be around. Like you came up to me at Ward and you were like, Matt, have you been meditating? Have you tried meditating? Like, you,
Hey, Matt, have you ever heard of this meditation thing?
dude, it was
It is
unreal.
working wonders for me.
I think the key is to try to spread it so it becomes a habit and just everywhere. But I think he even said just walking outside without headphones or something, just breathing and thinking.
What kind of fucking sociopath serial killer does that?
Yeah. I don't know.
Walking around thinking
Yeah.
with no earphones in.
It's,
me.
It's crazy talk,
That is crazy
Yeah.
talk.
but it just
nuts.
might work.
No, you know what? Like, if I'm alone with my thoughts, I will do harm to myself.
Yeah.
I don't mean like physically, I mean mentally.
Yeah.
I am way better off being entertained. Are we not entertained? Entertain us.
Yeah.
Here we are now.
Yeah, it's just that little bit of suffering.
Yeah.
I suffer plenty.
I know, but
I don't need to think about, I don't need a recap on my suffering.
there's no worse suffering than waiting.
There's no worse suffering than waiting. Ooh,
I mean,
like that.
listening
That
to
was
you go through
poignant.
all these points is
Wow.
right up there.
But you thought that was deep.
Yeah, that was pretty deep, no?
What?
You don't even remember what you said.
What was
There's
deep?
no worse suffering than waiting. And I would think if there's a meat example, if you pull up to give me a drive and you say you're here, 1,000, 1,000, you're going to start suffering. We're not even in a minute. What's the longest
Yeah,
I've
I'm
wait?
angry that you're not waiting on the stoop.
Suffering.
I mean,
He's right.
I just thought there was some it seemed like it was going to go off the I'm not you guys, I can't afford all this.
Yeah, I thought it was going that way for sure.
And it seemed like a practical thing. It's just you'd wish there was just one communication of this. Like, why not? We pay a lot of money for our healthcare. Why isn't
Why
these
is it?
tests given to every Canadian? Why is it not adopted? What's the catch? I don't know what you want me to call
There's
it.
a lot of things in our healthcare that make no sense, though. Like when you know about food in general, like there's no way the Canadian government. Like that's why Europe's so strict on food, because they all have universal healthcare. So they all go
want
to
you to be healthy,
Yeah, so
so
they
you
all go
don't
to
have a
food
problem.
providers, and they're like, you can't be poisoning the public. This is no bueno. We can't have you doing this because we pay
You're
for
just going to make work for us.
exactly.
Well, who was it on Rogan? Was it this guy? Somebody was on there saying it's one chemical that they spray on our wheat.
Folic acid.
Yeah, this
That's
guy.
the
It was
folic
this guy.
acid.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. That was interesting.
No, so that's
And if they just didn't spray that one chemical, you could eat as much fucking pasta as you wanted.
yeah.
They fuck us at every corner, dude. Like,
No, and that's what I'm saying. In the States, it makes sense because there's no universal health care. So it's like, yeah, this is capitalism. Make money where you can. And we're trying to feed 400 million people. But like up here, there's 36 million of us. And we have ample space to farm the right way. And we could do everything. And it would be beneficial.
they are standing behind like four walls fucking you with their big, long, crooked penis, you know?
But they're providing jobs.
Who? To who?
That's
Whoa,
always
hey,
the pushback.
Kamar, who are they providing jobs to?
The people
Tell us.
who
What kind of people?
the visitors.
Oh, Jesus. This jug's on fire.
Also a short episode. Check it out. I give it a 4.
Okay, fuck you, man.
No,
I give it a 3.5.
strike me down now
I would love to.
if in 12 months I haven't taken this freaking test.
Oh my
I
God.
might get it for Christmas.
Right. Well, you're on the clock, asshole.
On the clock.
Legitimately on the clock. What did he say? 6 months?
I wonder if we could write that
I
off.
will strike you down.
12 months.
I should look into that.
Let's say 12.
If we can write that off, Kamar, I'll just get the podcast to pay for all of us to get the test. Nice business write-off.
I don't.
Simon doesn't care. He doesn't want to know
wanna know.
because I ain't going to do anything about it.
I don't want to know.
But I think what would be wild is in this, idea of Ozempic, get rich quick, limitless, just instead of having to do hard work and suffer some sort of fix, if it is something you're eating that would just makes much bigger difference than you think.
Well, we're on the limitless talk. How have they not come out with that pill yet?
They don't want us at our best.
Yes. Well, that might be the AI pill.
Imagine how many useless CEOs there are out there, Simon. You just start outperforming all of them.
Yeah, it's true.
I forgot what I was trying
Dumb
to think
question.
about.
Well, we're done with that one. You're moving on to
we
the next.
were talking about pills.
We rated
but we
it
rated
and we
it.
were fucking done.
Yeah.
Oh, just drugs.
We were done.
Drugs, yeah.
The way drugs affect you.
Yeah.
This actually leads into a perfect episode. Finally, 2061, the queen of comedy, my favorite, Whitney Cummings. Is this a different Whitney Cummings than you've ever experienced before on the Joe Rogan Experience, or am I wrong?
Did we know she was pregnant?
Yeah.
We did?
Kamar did,
Yeah, I did.
How
yeah.
old is she?
40.
She's only 40?
Yeah.
Why did I think she was older than that?
I really like the way you said she's only 40. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I just feel like she's been around for so long, so it seems like she should be like my age, you know?
Gotcha.
Which is like halfway plus through 40.
41.
41.
Yeah,
there
she's
you go.
way too old to be having a baby.
Well, Tyson
She's got a bun in
Fury's-
that oven.
Tyson Fury is 36.
Shut the fuck up.
Are you serious?
Tyson? What?
Yes.
No.
No.
way.
Yes. Do the math, man.
Okay, I swear to God, I thought he was 50 years old.
Say that again. How old is he?
Exactly 36.
So how old is his dad?
80.
He was born in 87?
That's insane. I'm older than Tyson Fury. That doesn't even make any sense.
88. He was born at 88.
Oh, sorry.
Bad math.
Yeah, get your shit together.
He's 35 years old. Sorry. My bad. You had great math.
Yeah, get your shit together, man.
In any event, I broke that she was pregnant, and
I broke that she was Okay.
Okay, I'm going to bury the lead here. Deer shit. It's so interesting how palatable deer droppings are.
Yeah.
Compared to dog
They're
shit.
so dainty.
Why can't you
so
just
dainty.
get that out of your dog? They remarked on the progress of.
Oh, I hated this episode. Did I mention that?
Hygiene.
Yeah.
When people are like the challenges we have today, like to raise children or what, because she's completely changed 180. Do you not agree, gentlemen?
What does that have to do with hygiene, just by the way?
People have been having babies, procreating, living way before we were as healthy, safe societies as we have now.
Right. When people say I can't bring my kid into this world, is
Yes.
that what you mean? I don't think they're talking about the hygiene necessarily. I think they're talking about the fact that there are multiple wars.
Well,
going
those
on
would
at
have
the
been
same
reasons
time.
back then not to bring a kid. into the world.
100%. I think that's not a legitimate reason to not just admit that you don't want kids. It doesn't have to be because you're so righteous that you don't want to bring children into this terrible fucking existence.
And cheat yourself of the joy of a child.
No, I'm all for people who don't want to have kids. I'm just saying you don't have to make up some weird excuse to make yourself feel better about it. Just say I don't want to have kids.
Yeah. I like vacations and money.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. No responsibility and
There you go.
being able to enjoy my old age.
They touched on the Disney possible phallic symbols and just artists working for Disney,
Yeah. I bet Walt, that was probably a mandate.
mucking around, fucking around.
I bet it was just, yeah.
I bet
the
Walt was like,
renegade.
if there aren't 50 penises in each one of these, then we're doing ourselves a disservice.
I mean, if he really was a Nazi, maybe
Yeah.
they were purposely putting penises into the thing to try and
Yeah. Oh, the puritanical Americans, they hate the penis so much.
well, to
Or-
make us like a uber sexual.
Yeah, look, they're
place.
showing the kids a penis.
And the new Sodom and Gomorrah, you know.
Yeah.
Or a disgruntled free radical.
Well, it seemed to
artist.
happen too many times in too many different, like the Little Mermaid animators weren't the same ones who did that Mickey Mouse, you know.
There's just one dirty old man who's still
In
still in
there.
the.
He sneaks in
He's
at
just-
night and just sticks penises into fucking drawings. Fucking Walt Disney takes my money.
Like, Alan keeps adding penises to my work at night. I don't know what to do.
They talked about China taking the pandas back.
Yeah.
And what if that's China's like, get the pandas out of there,
Yeah.
I want to fuck them up. and no one sees it. You know, like when the water comes away at the tsunami?
Well, that's how it works, right? When like your friend's house is getting robbed, you're like, "Yo, I need to get back my PlayStation. I can't."
Yeah. Like, I need it tonight.
I need it tonight. I'm sorry.
Like, I'll be
I
there
just
in 5
need it.
minutes.
No,
Yeah.
no, you know your friend's place is being robbed. I mean, you're an accomplice to robbing your
Yeah.
friend.
No, you just the word's out on the
Yeah.
street. This guy's getting shook.
Yeah, you know what's going on. Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily mean you have to be involved.
I might want to get my stuff back. You might want to get another lock.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to need my stuff back.
Then they talked about the 250-year fire.
Yeah.
The coal fire burning underground. And then Jamie was talking about what if we did not like discover fire in, like, none of us know. Some of us would think it was people standing around and lightning hit a tree and it was fire there. Correct?
I mean,
Probably.
that's
That
what
makes
we
the most
assume.
sense. Yeah.
Or you came across one of these deposits.
Yeah,
that's just
it could have
constantly burning.
could have been that too. And once you find that deposit, you probably build your civilization around that deposit. Because, like Jamie said, you know, the same way you would go get water, you would just go get fire.
And then at some point you'd figure out how to.
And some point, somebody's like, "Well, this is stupid. Like, we know fire exists."
Well, maybe, but maybe that was the raison d'etre to those people, is to find the next fire source.
But you would also imagine, like, guys out in the woods who's got nothing better to do. Eventually, he's gonna rub two sticks together. Like,
Yeah,
that's
but
just
for
a
how
no-brainer.
long?
Oh, who knows, man? You got an
OCD.
an ACDC guy out there, and
If you see that something can cause the stick to burn, then you would try to figure out what that was.
well, okay, let's say you saw lightning. Okay,
Yeah.
just lightning hits a tree, fire comes out.
I'm with you.
You use that fire, and then that fire goes away. you're going to wait until the next time lightning. That would be your thinking, right? Lightning made this fire.
Yeah.
I now have to figure out a way to harness that lightning in some way to continuously get fire. I don't know if you would think to yourself, oh, shit can burn? Do you know what
I'm
I mean?
with you, yeah.
So
Well, would you go around being like, how do I light this rock? Because wouldn't that also
yeah,
like you first come across fire, like you're saying, okay, you see a tree get struck by lightning, there's fire, it's warm, this is great. Would you then not for like a week be like everything can be lit on fire
you
like
wouldn't
a rock?
know what
That's what I'm saying.
could
What's
lit on fire
flammable?
until
Yeah.
you tried it. But maybe that's what they did while they had the
Sure.
lightning fire.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
They
What
said,
can we
let's
burn?
burn
Yeah,
this
let's-
shit down,
let's
and
see what-
whatever
yeah.
was left is what we don't
Yeah.
use as kindling, you know?
Because I'm sure too, when like if you think about it back then, all the forests would be so plush. Everywhere would have tons of greenery. So like any massive storm,
Well, we know forest fires happen all the time.
yeah.
Like just because of lightning strikes. So that, you know, whether you saw the lightning strike the tree, I'm sure at some point they ran into fire.
Yeah.
But we just assume.
Just like all animals
know.
did in the savannah,
Yeah.
right? Like we're no different.
Joe was talking about people tying a magnifying glass
Yeah,
somewhere.
intentionally, yeah. That's wild.
That's some low key terrorism.
Some low key terrorism.
Snowballs at cars.
Well,
Now,
I used to love that.
I never put a rock in it, but it was to get chased.
Yeah, the chase was half the fucking fun.
What were we thinking?
I always think about it now. I'm like, if a kid did that now, I fucking chill. No, wait.
And we think like, oh, these kids are so stupid today. Like we wouldn't film ourselves in cars with snowballs.
Yeah.
And they extend on into those guys that killed the guy. They would drive around laughing and they ran over the former police officer and laughing. And even after we're
That
like,
video is brutal.
we're young offenders, nothing's going to happen, which is a problem almost.
No, they got life.
I know, but the weird area of where like people aren't responsible, so we have young offenders. There are young offenders who know exactly what they're doing and
Oh, yeah.
are bad.
Yep. I would agree with that. He's had enough. Simon's not having it.
No, I just sometimes. Okay. Yes, I agree with that as well.
Do you agree that there's like a before and after 2 girls at 1 cup?
Is that it wasn't real? Is that true?
Well, it was somewhat.
I thought
real.
we saw the shit coming out of their asses
I don't think it was shit.
into each other's mouths.
Well, I love
no?
where Joe's like, we found out it was ice cream. Like, I don't know if that makes it any better.
Well,
Well, it makes it way better, less gross.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, they're not really shitting in each other's mouths.
Okay. So I get it that if I give you gun to your head, I'm either going to shit in your mouth or pack my ass full of ice cream and squirt
I'm
that into your
taking
mouth.
the ice cream
Yeah,
1,000
I know you are,
times out
but
of
I'm just
1,000.
saying, I given a third option that is not me shitting anything in your mouth. You're
Yeah,
going
listen,
with that.
I didn't know that was one of the options.
but that desensitized us to, and now the bring it on. Unfortunately, we have keep your eyes out for the next thing that will just be like too much. So it's before and after 2 girls, 1 cup. Could be like a paradigm shifting moment.
Like I always used to look at my parents when I was young,
Yeah.
and I was just like, "Oh, my dad is so boring." But it's just because there was nothing to do. Like there was no internet. There
Yeah.
was hardly any television. You know what I mean? Like
You remember when the TV at midnight just went to bars?
when did they start playing the anthem? Was that at night or in the morning?
Yeah, that was at night. That's
that
what I'm
at
saying.
night?
At midnight, they played the anthem, and then it was like TV is done for the evening.
Done for the day.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like
If
we'll
you're
be
awake
back
right now, you shouldn't
go to
be.
bed.
Yeah.
We'll be back at 6 a.m. Yeah, it was like it's crazy to think that we lived in a time where the television was just like, no, we're not selling you anything for the next 6
And
hours.
not very long ago, like within 20 years,
30.
30 years,
Yeah.
it's just nonstop advertising all the time when you're asleep, when you're awake, like you're plugged in at all moments.
Yeah. Yes, you are.
Like they kept saying it, like Russia, if this was you, good fucking job, because you really have
Yeah, you've
done
done it.
exactly what you said you were going
Congratulations.
to do.
Yeah.
I can't imagine someone who's 20 years old what they know about whatever.
They don't know anything about anything.
Well, I'm sure they know a lot more than I did at that time. I don't know if they know it usefully. But
Yeah, they don't know how to count change. I can tell you that much.
It's so true.
Like, have you ever seen a fucking
No,
young
it's
person
nuts.
these days try and give change?
It's crazy.
It's like their brain explodes.
yeah. It's really tough to watch.
This is money.
Yeah, it's really tough.
Like, I know it's not of use to you anymore because it's not like attached to your phone somehow.
it's because of inflation.
Well, no, we know what it's because of, Kamar.
Have you seen the movie The Program?
Yeah, I speak about it all the time.
Why do you speak about it all the time?
I've
Because
brought
of
up
that scene?
Yeah,
where
I brought
they-
up that scene multiple times recently. Simon, you've seen it.
I have.
It's the JRE movie game. The time has come again. For Matt and Simon to rack their brains to guess the budget in the box office. We all know they won't guess the year, and the Patreons are the real winners here at the JRE movie game. Come on, take it away, baby.
It's the movie game.
Debo
where Matt
Samuel.
and Simon go head to head to find out what year a movie came out, how much it cost to make, and how much it made at the box office. This week we're doing The Program. Filmed back in no, almost got me.
Yeah, what year did that come out, Kamar?
Directed by David S. Ward,
Who?
Exactly.
starring James Caan, Haley Berry, Omar Epps, Craig Sheffer, Christy
Halle
Swanson.
Berry was in this movie. Christy Swanson was so hot.
Halle Berry. Distributed by Buena Vista Pictures Distribution, if that helps you at all. Can you remember when they were a big player? David Finch just put out a new movie. Is it David Fincher or David Finch? He did movies like Fight Club, I think.
Yeah, it's so fucking bad. Oh my God. If you want to waste an hour and 40 minutes of your life, watch The Killer.
As if
Oh, I watched it too. Yeah.
It is so fucking bad
You guys are so weird. How'd you get sucked into it?
because
What do you
it
mean? It
sounds
looked good,
amazing.
yeah.
It's by Fincher.
It just came up, or someone mentioned it on the interwebs?
no,
What are you
no,
talking about?
it's,
It's like
on
a-
Netflix.
it's on Netflix.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
New
number
release,
one on
you saw
Netflix
The
or
Killer,
whatever.
and so I'll check this out.
Well, I saw the ad for it, and I was like, I'd like to check this out. It's got Fassbender. It looks like
It's rather annoying. Too much self dialogue too, eh?
terrible.
Too
movie.
much self
Terrible
dialogue.
movie.
It's all
Yeah.
self dialogue. It's insane, and it's not exciting self dialogue. It's like that serial killer movie, but what's it with Bateman?
Oh, American Psycho.
Right, but that dialogue is like funny. It's got a little bit of wit to it. This thing, he's just quoting all these obnoxious fucking.
It also I don't know. It just really, it's like a trope that's been done so many times that if you're gonna do it, you better knock it out of the park and do it right. And they just did not nail it.
Yeah, no, I didn't think it was very.
No wife beheaded in a box. No sex suit. I'm like, what are we doing here?
Dude, she didn't even die. They didn't even kill her.
Nobody's going into a basement fighting anybody else. Like, enough.
Stop me if you've
Enough.
heard any of this.
Yeah, no,
All
really.
right.
Yeah.
I'm not ready. Sorry.
You don't have a year yet, Simon?
I do have a year.
What year do you have?
96.
I have 95.
I actually was gonna put 94.
Well, the movie actually came out 1993.
I should have put 94 then, shouldn't I have?
Are you ready with the rest, Simon? No. You need a moment.
I need a second here. I'm gonna say this much money.
I'm going to tell you this. Mark Andrews is not getting these yards, and that's really disappointing.
Why do you reckon that?
Okay,
Because
I'm
there's
ready.
a quarter left.
Say what now? He needs 60 yards?
No, he needs like 45, and he's got 8.
Okay, I'm ready.
Play.
It's not going to happen.
I said it cost 14 million to make and it grossed 67 million.
I said it cost 10.9, and it made 28.
If you guys could just combine yourself. Budget, 20 million. Box office, 23 million.
That's not good.
I feel like I got to win there.
Yeah, you guys almost. I don't know, man. Do you ever see that? Do you ever see that word association game?
Which one?
Like you guys should almost put your guesses, and then the mean in between there is actually the.
Are you talking about the word association where we both yell out a word, and then we have to find the middle word in between that?
Okay, let's do it right now. You ready?
Do you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about? Okay.
One,
Hold on.
two-
Hold on.
okay. I'm
Okay.
ready. Ready?
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Turtle.
Fish stick.
How'd you get there?
1, 2, 3.
Ocean.
Wait, show me your sleeves.
That is fucking
How
sick.
did you do that?
I don't know,
How
dude.
did you
That's
do that?
crazy.
What's going on here?
2.
Where's
Nice.
the strings?
Should we try it again?
Where's the strings? You must.
Okay, let's try it again. Okay.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me think. Okay, ready.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Brooklyn
Skateboard.
Bridge.
Okay.
1,
1, 2, 3. Brooklyn
Pigeon.
Banks. Oh fuck! Like fuck. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Jeff
Central
Staple.
Park.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Nike.
Oh fuck! I couldn't even think of one there.
Yeah, you really choke when you don't say a word.
No,
All right.
well, we got the first one.
yeah.
Banged it out.
Just
we should have just
cut-
stopped while we
just
were ahead.
cut
Yeah,
that
no,
out.
totally. That's out. Gone.
That was amazing how we did that just that one time, right, y'all?
That's the movie game. I was saying to Simon that guys have point spread, girls have the zodiac.
That's okay. I
Don't
like that.
laugh at that. It doesn't really make any sense.
Doesn't have
We're
to make
betting,
sense.
they're not. And then he
Something
said,
to
well,
believe in.
they're buying makeup, which also doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Well, the point spread's made up. Zodiac's made up.
Wow.
that's
Back
okay.
around the corner again. He's got legs. Can you be cool and have blue hair?
No.
I mean, I've never seen
I don't
it
think
personally.
you can. Joe seems to think you can.
Why? Who has blue hair that's cool?
No, Whitney was like, "Look, I had blue hair. Take it from me. People could lose their mind." He said, "Oh, you can be cool with blue hair."
No.
No, you can't be cool with blue hair.
Oh, no, sorry. I've seen some girls who put like a weird strip in their hair. Or whatever.
that's
Yeah,
not
but were
blue
they
hair.
hot or cool?
Both, Matt.
You don't look cool. That's all I'm saying. And hey, you don't have to be cool. You can have blue hair. It's just those don't go together. They were talking about people defacing heart. Like, was there one
What?
time,
Defacing heart?
defacing the heart to for the pollution?
What are you saying?
They go to the theater or the gallery
Deflating the art for the
and they
prostitution?
deface the art
What the?
for the safe planet.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Gotcha.
Yes, they go to
Yeah.
galleries and deface the art
Yeah.
for pollution. I see what he was doing
Holy
there.
fuck, yeah, we shouldn't have had to do all that, though.
Gotcha. Okay. Yes, what's your point?
Was there one time when someone defaced a painting and it made difference?
No.
Like it doesn't seem like it should be a repetitious thing, except I guess it gets the media attention.
That's
but
all it is, because it has nothing to do
it
with
is-
anything.
It has no precedent of making a change.
And it has no relevancy to the point they're trying to make.
I think a billionaire should just sit a massive barge out in the ocean and like just load it up with crude oil and be like, listen, climate activists, you guys fuck with one more piece of beautiful art and we're dumping this. And it's going to affect all. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, gun to the head. Like, listen, you want to call bluffs? We've got all the money in the
Fucking
world.
planet
Yeah,
gets
yeah,
it,
well,
you
fucking
motherfucker.
exactly. See who really runs this fucking shit.
She quoted something about Hawaii, them getting rid of fruit trees so people could eat.
BJ
And
Penn.
She was quoting something from this podcast that we heard to Joe. And then this is where the whole thing cracked open. Because she talked about when she was young, she'd have medicines tested on her, just like the Raka Raka guys.
Just like
which
Philippou.
He thought it was ridiculous.
Is that a name? Philippou? They're the Philippou brothers, right?
I don't remember.
Philippou. The Raka Raka boys. Just
Anyways,
don't
I
try.
think the Philippous.
But heard again,
Raka Raka boys.
I will get no consensus from you guys. She has changed. This is the best Whitney we've ever heard on the podcast. She's
she's about to be a
measured, she's
mother.
calm. She's not on birth control for the first time in her life. And it drastically changed her. Like it's so unnatural. I never thought about it. Like, oh, this is convenience. But considering what we just heard from Gary Brecka about the littlest thing can make the biggest difference in your your life, your anxiety, your thinking, your sleeping.
And this is totally fucking your system.
It
up,
has
yeah.
to be. And I'm not saying women can't use it, but
I wonder if there was never birth control, would women have been like, would there have been less sex going on because more people would have to be guarded to not impregnate people? You know what I'm saying?
But people who don't have any money do it. Like it's not, the task or the monumental challenge of having a kid and supporting it is not in the front of most people's heads.
The weird thing is, like, you go to the sexual health clinic, they'll just give you a fucking sack of condoms, like a Christmas fucking bag of condoms.
And I think it's being a prolonged state of birth control.
Being on a
Like 5 years of your body thinking you're pregnant, you're not who you are. And I have no right to tell women, but I have never been able to sit through a Whitney Cummings episode. This one, she was great. I can't explain it.
I mean, I totally disagree. I think you were fucking totally swept up in this birth control nonsense, but she was just as annoying as ever.
No, I disagree.
No.
And she's
She's pregnant. That's probably a huge reason why. Like,
she blamed it all
she's
on
putting her
birth control.
life into perspective. Yeah, I get it. Like, people like to look back and assign blame to things, but maybe she was just an asshole. And now she's finally having a baby and she's like, oh, I'm not the most important thing in the universe? Oh, I get it. Like, it could have nothing to do with birth control.
It could, but it might because she said it
Right.
did.
Correlation,
Yeah,
not causation.
That's right.
So if you saw it, then we believe it.
Yeah. You're there, Simon. You've got it.
She goes down. Before she was going down rabbit holes where she would try to like find some Scientology boats.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Imagine you had access.
I know where every Scientology boat is.
I know where every
No, but you'd be
Simon runs ScientologyBoatTracker.com.
You'd have people.
Where do you think she went for her information? She ended up
She's
down
all over my message
rabbit
board.
hole.
Yeah.
You'd have people flying drones in quadrants all over Ontario to grid out all the possible places Bigfoot exists.
Is that how you think she found out where the boats were? She had to like hire drone people to go out and map the world? She went on Google Maps. It took 2 minutes.
No, I think she was talking to a lawyer about maritime law. Like she got a little more involved than spotting.
Probably
something.
because she was part of Scientology and she had to like fight her
She
way
wanted to
out.
put a crack team of mercenaries there and go save Susan McCavage.
Don't think it's
Miscavige.
Susan.
Shelley.
Shelley Miscavige. Yeah.
She's worried
Just
about
throwing any S name in there now. Sheila.
Sally Miscavige.
the Fukushima fish scare, which I'm not afraid of. I think it's funny that some people are.
That I'm not afraid of.
This is where you smash cut to like
I've
6 months from
never-
now. Kamar's in Japan doing a live with 4 people watching. He's like, I just want everyone to know I'm eating Fukushima fish. It's all a fucking scare.
Excellent. Jamie Vernon is really underrated, and what he knows is pretty inside baseball. I was just thinking about it, like biggest podcast in the world. Not only is his her searching skills formidable, it's providing him an array of interests, but whatever's gone down, whatever has been cut out, whatever, he knows everything.
Yeah, he's got the inside
He knows
scoop.
where the bodies are buried
Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
true. Yeah.
I don't think there are that many bodies though that would interest you that much.
But there's not that many Jamies. There's only one Jamie.
There's only one Jamie, but I'm pretty sure, you know what? We love Jamie here.
Yeah.
I won't say what I'm
No,
thinking.
don't you ever disrespect Jamie. Not
Our-
on this show.
Our biggest defect is thinking we're right.
Our biggest defect is thinking we're right. Yeah, that's one of our biggest defects. Yeah.
When someone thinks they're right about something, they'll do something wrong.
I know, but
It's
if you
such
never
a-
think you're right, then there's no progress to be made. So thinking you're right is like a key thing to people pushing forward and innovating and all of that stuff.
That's true.
100% true. You
I think
have
that's-
to fail
yeah,
to succeed.
I agree. You
So-
also have to be able to, I think what Kamar's trying to say is that most of us will hold on to, like, we could have all the proof in front of us. And if we've believed it for long enough, we'll just still bury our heads in the sand.
Well, that is for sure. Just look at fucking flat Earth. Look at the moon landing. Look at so many things.
Look at flat Earth.
We just dig our heads in the sand. The flat sand.
We have
The long, flat desert.
we have a propensity for violence.
100%.
Like even we want to get rid of it, but we're drawn to it. In sport is the simplest, but also like Joe is saying, him and Tom show 4 people dying every morning or something, which I'm not at that point yet.
Oh, I just meant like humans are toward violence against each other. I didn't know it was showing each other pictures of violence.
Professional sport is almost like a pacifier.
It's just competition. I don't think it has anything to do with violence.
But even then, there's plenty.
We watch basketball.
There's
They
plenty
never
of sport.
touch
Yeah, I
each
was just gonna
other.
say tennis. Like, there's plenty of sport
It's
that doesn't involve.
competition. We love competition.
Yeah,
That's what war really is competition. It's competition with death, but it's competition,
I guess. Yeah, you're not wrong.
It's the highest stakes of competition. And that's why people love boxing. And that's why people like fighting so much. Because like Joe says, the consequences are dire.
Maybe that's why
a good
soccer is the most popular. It's the least violent. Baseball too.
No, soccer's the most popular because it's the most accessible.
Yeah. I
You
agree
need
with that,
very little for soccer. Most people,
You need zero.
need a ball. That's it.
A round thing.
Yeah.
Doesn't even have to be a ball.
Hollywood should consider CGIing child actors. Like, do we really need kids to play roles of kids?
Right.
and
Nobody
be
is
fucked
that
up?
good that you're like, oh, that child performance was breathtaking.
And around the same time, I watched this 15-minute thing on kids. Like, if Kids was filmed today, people would go to jail.
Oh, you watched the documentary?
There's a lot. I don't know what I watched, but it was just an interesting thing about. There was 12-year-olds smoking weed, getting drunk on set. Like, it captured a snapshot of time and was really real, but it was too real for what we accept as like they were abused.
Yeah, I mean Harmony Korine was like 18 when he directed it, so it's one of those weird like.
A wrong had to happen for a right, but that isn't like we should encourage this happening again.
What I'm saying, Kamar, is like if I right now at 40 went and made kids with a bunch, and I forced a bunch of 12-year-olds to
Yes.
smoke, that's way more egregious than if I'm 18 and a bunch of my like younger friends are hanging around because
But I mean, there was people there.
Yeah, there
He
was.
wasn't just him directing these kids.
Well, back in the day, a lot of fucking movies were made that couldn't be made today.
But kids, name one that is like it's always him, but that seems so real.
I think kids could be made today. I
You think
disagree.
it could be made today?
Yeah, I think it could
Oh
be
yeah,
made
but
today.
they'd have to have way better working conditions or whatnot.
Oh, it just wouldn't have been so raw. As
No,
what you're
because even
saying.
then, Kamar, you're talking about it like it was an independent film. Independent films are still made like that.
Yeah,
Outside of
I'm
the
48 years old, and that's still one of the most realest, rawest movies where I kept going like, is this really happening or just a on set?
Well, like Requiem for a Dream.
Mm-hmm.
That was more of a blockbustery type movie in compared to Kids, I guess.
yeah, sure.
But still like wildly
raw, yeah.
inappropriate,
There was children in Requiem for a Dream?
Well, I mean, they were young people. They weren't fucking.
Oh, the actors were like 17, 18.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was a long time ago.
That's fair enough.
They weren't like Jared Leto was well into his 20s. Jennifer Connelly was well into her 20s, 30s.
I mean, were they?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Well, anyways, kids, it just stood out to me as a specific example, and they could CGI children because most of them, it ends up, fame doesn't work well.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking children like that. Like those kids seem like they were well into ability to act at that point. I was thinking like, the little kids. Why are we putting them through the fucking when we don't care what a baby looks like on camera? You know what I'm saying?
I don't think he's talking about babies. I think he's
Or a
talking about like kids.
2-year-old
Yeah.
or a 4-year-old. Like they don't have acting chops that are blowing you out of the water. A fucking CGI rendering of them, if it was real enough, could do the trick.
I'd say below 16. But I guess maybe you have to discover young actors. I don't know.
I guarantee you, though, 2 years of that, and you guys would be like, this is terrible.
Give us back our babies.
Yeah, you would, honestly.
I want to see real kids suffer and maybe throw their life away after filming. She was talking about OnlyFans being used for other things other than sex.
Yeah.
Like what?
Well, there's comedian. There's a
She's putting her stand up on it.
yeah. There's a lot of comedians on
cooking shows
OnlyFans.
on it. It's like
Simon, don't forget, it's one of the
another
last
platform.
It's one of the last bastions of like they're not going to take you down for saying some shit because they have girls playing with their assholes on there. So it's like if you thought, oh, YouTube might take my special down, you could just go put it on OnlyFans and say, listen, for $5 you get my special. Like it's kind of like how Louis did it.
The whole model of clicking to paying for something is way more accepted now than ever before. Did you know that OnlyFans is run by a gay guy?
I didn't know that.
That's good cover. One other thing I dropped the ball about is that Joe's episode with Elon played on X.
Played on X. What does that mean?
He put it out on X. So the first time since the Spotify
interesting.
deal, he put something on a different platform.
Very interesting.
Now, I believe it was only 2 hours and the rest was still on Spotify. But this may be
Probably another deal he made with Elon for something.
where the wind may be blowing, that he may move over to X. Joe.
Interesting.
As it has become a conversation that his
Conversation.
deal is expiring.
The only problem is X doesn't have an audio platform. Now they might build one for him, but it's good for video. But what is he like? I don't know that they have a.
All I know is if I pay for a YouTube Premium, it works in that way that you can close your phone and still listen to it.
Gotcha.
And it'd probably be something
Pay for
maybe
Premium
detrimental,
X.
whatever it is exactly.
It's Twitter, by the way. Stop saying X. It's not X. We're not doing that.
I work for Elon.
Not
so
here.
I work
anyways,
for
Matt.
Elon.
Not here.
If he wants me to call it X, it's X. Joe is a moron. You can say that.
You
with-
don't work for Elon anymore.
No, it was Bezos he worked for.
Oh,
he never
right.
worked for
Sorry,
Elon.
That's right. That's
Well,
right. Sorry.
once you stop working for Bezos, you start working for Elon.
Just automatically.
But you can say unequivocally, Joe is a moron.
Okay, why?
Why would you
Or
say
he
that?
calls himself a moron. He's a moron. And there's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, I don't think so.
Only
I don't think somebody can be uber successful like Joe and you call them a moron.
he calls himself a moron.
Well,
It's
that's
his own word.
because he's trying to like throw shade at himself to
Yeah,
be more
the
of
everyman,
a
yeah.
everyman. But
If
we
you
know.
saw him as called him a moron and go, how'd you know?
No, I think if you walked up to Joe and just were like, "You're a moron," he'd have a fucking 5-star Navy SEAL break your arm.
I don't care what you say. I don't think you're a moron. AI president is the only way out of all this stuff. That's probably not going to happen. It's illegal.
You know what they'll do? They'll give us the old version.
Well, hopefully.
No, nothing. All right.
the old version of an AI president.
Yeah, like we have Joe Biden. So instead of like if ChatGPT 10 was out, they'd be like the president is ChatGPT 3. You know, and it would be like,
gotcha.
God damn it, forget it.
It's illegal to grow GMO crops in Russia. And I think that goes back to that thing about European having different standards for what we can eat.
It might have something to do with communism. I don't know.
I have no idea. I haven't looked into it.
Well, Joe did.
Yeah, but you just called him a moron.
Oh my God. That's,
No, he called himself a
Oh,
moron.
sorry. No, but then Kamar backed it up.
that's the new God did.
That's the new God did. Russia did.
Joe did.
Oh, Joe did.
Factory farms are a bummer. Joe did. No, I was blown away in his breakthrough. She really opened up about how birth control made her choose different partners, move in different ways, act in another way, and she's so much happier and centered now. I'm sorry if you didn't
Couldn't
see
have been
it.
the mass amount of drugs that she was on. It had
Oh,
to be the birth
the
control.
best is when Joe's like, yeah, and some people go Ambien. Oh, I'm one of those people. Oh, yeah, people have tried. Oh, I'm one of those people. She's done everything under the sun.
Yeah, but you're blaming it on the birth control.
No, Simon, you're not listening. I'm not blaming it.
No, Simon, you're not listening.
She
Oh,
tried
I'm listening. I'm
everything
trying not to
under the
listen.
sun, and it turned out it was the birth control. How you like me now?
I like that you've globbed onto another fucking trend, this anti-birth control trend. So if you had a daughter, you would forbid her from taking birth control.
No,
He's a Christian conservative.
I
Have you
was
not
a
been around
Christian
here? What's going on? Like, are you new to this
if
show?
I,
Get the fuck
if
outta
I
here.
was
There's a puritanical
if I had a
fucking
daughter,
wasp.
I said go on birth control, but consider consider not just going on it open-endedly, you may be changing the way you think, feel, and it could matter.
I like how he turns
go
into
on
a
it for
scholar
the
when he
first
talks
couple
to his
of
daughter.
years when you want to
Or your
fuck,
whole face,
and then-
whole face it out, but
Ho phase it up.
This is your daughter you're talking to, by the way.
Yeah.
it shouldn't be. Yeah, this is just the best way to do it. There are no side effects, or downplay the side effects because there must be side effects. But they were talking about the acne medication that gave you anal bleeding.
Accutane.
I took Accutane. I never got anal bleeding. I got it from being fucked up the ass, but I didn't get it from anal bleeding.
Well, it happens one way or the other in this cruel world we live in.
Yeah, that Accutane stuff's a drag, man.
Well, yeah, anal bleeding. That's no,
No,
fun.
even minus the anal bleeding.
But
it's
how'd you
not,
think about it?
I had bad acne and I went to the doctor.
But you're saying the some of the effects of the Accutane was not enjoyable.
No, because it dries your skin out really badly. So you get like cracked mouth and lips and everything.
And that makes you
But,
self-conscious?
Yeah,
But it
all
doesn't
of that
but it
shit
doesn't
is
make you
bad.
depressed or anything.
No, it also does
Oh
make you
my-
depressed. But after it's done, the one thing that was making you miserable is better. So like again, it's just a little bit of
It's really effective, but there's
it's
there's a big
effective.
squeeze for the juice.
yeah. And listen, I'm sure there are worse squeezes. You know what I mean? Like so, you have a dry face for a while and a little bit of rectal bleeding. Like we're all gonna get that every now and again.
Whose
guys.
anus doesn't
Like,
bleed here and there?
Come on, I take a big shit and my anus bleeds.
Yeah, it's true.
So I think that's the exact same sort of idea of the sacrifice that you will be taking if you're on birth control for 4 years,
Stop equating things that you have no idea about.
where you're telling your body you're pregnant over and over and over and again. You're lying to your body and tricking yourself. It's just something to be cognizant of. I'm not telling anyone how to.
This guy's four
Thanks,
years.
Dr.
This
Piss
guy's-
Jug. Let's move on.
This guy's 4 years away from spending his Saturdays on Rito Street with a sign.
great. Yeah. Prove me wrong.
If you can look
Birth
me in the
control
face-
is for the birds. Prove me wrong.
If you can look me in the face and tell me, no, this is the same old Whitney. She's still like harebrained and all over the place and seems to know everything about everything. It's not.
How about I'll do this, okay? Birth control may be a bad thing. Whitney was no better than she ever was. I think that all has to do with her being pregnant. Like you've never had a kid, but I'm telling you, it adjusts your perspective.
No, but I thought I thought I was having a kid. Yeah, for sure. I felt that perspective change.
Did you?
And that's where she is. 'Cause God forbid.
Well, I think it's also different for a woman when you have like a fucking living being growing inside of you, you know?
It's also weird for the person.
Well, no, you probably bond. Like, come on. No, I had already bonded with the unborn child inside a woman I hardly knew.
I mean, it is just a good point. But
Kamar's throwing the ball with his unborn baby.
there has to be
Anyways,
something.
what you're doing here is you're pulling a hotep where you hear something that you agree with and you just go full ham into it.
Yeah.
And then a
hog.
couple of weeks from now, something else will come out and you'll forget about the birth control. And
Like he'll get a girl pregnant.
No, I think that what would stop that, oh my God, is going up to a woman and telling her, have you ever considered not doing birth control? You might think differently, going well. So that's why it won't happen. But you will concede that Whitney was.
I didn't think about it once. I didn't think this Whitney's off of birth control and so much better.
I find her annoying all the time. So she was equally as annoying this time.
I give it a 2.5.
They just like think about some of the things
Four.
she said. No, sorry. Just
Four.
before we go on, I forgot this part because it enraged me.
Sure. Sure.
She was like, "Yeah, Joe, you went away for a couple of days, and everybody just started doing like tons of kratom when you were gone." No, trust me, they're doing it all the time. Like nobody is fucking not high at that place. And just the way they describe the comedy club,
Actually,
like
I'm glad you
it's
brought that
all
up.
Such bullshit, man.
It is
Come
because it is
on.
very exclusive.
Of course it is.
And you
Buddy.
don't think there are people there trying to get ahead? Like everybody is trying to get ahead.
His universe is so big, though, that this exclusive club feels like it's a
Open to everyone.
mecca for everyone. Bring us your downtrodden. Bring us your not so funny.
God, you won't even let Brendan Schaub in the door for fuck's sake.
It's it's true. It isn't the community. Well, it is in that universe, but overall, that's not a fair description of the comedy community.
She's like, yeah, there are no agents in there. There's not really. Really, you don't think where all the best comedians are gathered and all these up and coming comedians are gathered, there aren't vultures in the crowd? You're fucking crazy.
Hey, lady.
Hey, lady, you're fucking crazy.
I give it a 2.5.
Yeah, I give it a fucking 1.5.
All right, well, that is an episode. If you made it this far, thank you so much. Maybe, just maybe, you're willing to go a step further. We do have a Patreon. If you want to support the show, you can do so for as little as $5 a month. For that $5, you get the post show. It's the show after the show. We shoot the shit. You'll also get old episodes of This Won't Age Well, where we went back and listened to old episodes of Joe. Did the same thing we do here. And you'll get some other extra content on there that we've done. Some stupid shit. That's really it. Thank you for watching or listening or however you ingested this nonsense. We love you. We hope you have a great week. We hope you enjoy your weekend. And as usual,
Keep your eyes open.